Okay, so welcome to session number 73 with the characters experiencing a storyline where they have fractured time so they can get multiple things done at the same time. Just they're about to learn just what that means with fracturing time in this session because they chose to add a few extra quests on top of what they were already doing. So starting off with the people who are here at the moment, we'll start off with Stephen introducing his character.
Hi, I'm playing Sir Clovius, who is a Corendon knight. His family are apparently pivotal in the Corendon Empire, and if they should die, then it will cause societal collapse.
Which is always fun to realize that everything rests on you.
Yeah.
But you're not really that important in the scheme of things. Which is quite funny with the different things that help people. So the next person we have online today is Emerist. So apparently I've left David as online.
Greetings. My name is Emerist. I play Nasty Stump / Simply Red / Captain Crimson / now the Herald and supporter of, is it Anya?
I think so.
Yeah,
Vanya, the god
With a V.
V.
With a V, okay, Vanya. Which I was very excited about, and that was obviously what I intended.
I'm sure an extra couple of people doing various things will not be too hard for you to have to remember.
I was just trying to help.
You were getting sick of that other guy.
Next person.
I did technically pray to them both, I must say.
Well, it's not like there's not over 100 gods to choose from. Or close to the 1,000 when you choose all their alternate names.
That's true. I probably should have had a top 10. You know what I mean? So there's some redundancy there.
And next person online is Jeremy.
Yes, good evening all. I am playing Dimitri Dimitrios, the simple wise man of Kelgara, who generously offers to assist the party in their quest to various methods of saving the world by providing the advice that they need at the time they need it. Definitely not before. No point giving him foreknowledge. Unfortunately, for some reason, certain members of the party have difficulty understanding or accepting the wise and insightful advice that Dimitri will always provide.
Which is always, hard to understand considering it's just so useful.
Absolutely.
Next person online is Mark. Who may be on mute.
She's still muted.
Hello, Mark.
Yeah, Mark's on mute at the moment.
So we'll skip Mark for the moment and come back to him. Next one online is Martin.
I'm playing Trellen Silverleaf, an elf Kenzai monk. I've received my prediction or foretelling, whatever it's called. But I'm happy to take a back seat to the Alfheim story, particularly because it's all happening at the same time.
Yep, and so nothing is more important than the other as the time goes. Now trying back on Mark to see if his microphone has fixed up.
Sorry, I was making the coffee, guys. Sorry.
All good.
And I didn't really want to hear Dimitri's voice anyway. So I'm playing Bradshaw, the dwarf warrior master, who has to put up with Dimitri's crap every session. Yeah, that's it, me.
Okay. So to recap of what happened, the characters managed to make it out of Glantry with one of the magic seeds that the vampire from Karameikos was after. Fled across Ethengar and then went to a land of the dead known as the Black Sands. where they were promised a chance to ask the gods 3 questions, for one of the characters at least. Everyone else managed to get a prophecy while they were there because strange things are happening. And it turns out that the entire group are catalysts for various events happening around the world. And if they're not there, bad things will happen. And being given a choice of what to do, they weren't sure they could actually solve all of them. So they asked how could they do more than one. At which point they were given the information that Captain Razzle would be able to help them. And then they met him back in the Ethengarian camp after finding out various bits of information from him, which he didn't give them a lot of heads up on what was happening. He just said they had to be ready by sunrise. He then started casting a ritual, which he managed to complete before sunrise, and then asked you which quest was most important to start first. And that's when you started heading off to use Captain Crimson's quest to set fire to the Alphatian Armada. Because if you don't burn down the Armada will fly over the rest of your homelands and basically air bomb you with fire from above.
Oh, nice.
There's no other government or organization or nation that has the ability to withstand their combined armada. So he took you north to be picked up by a Haldanic warbird, which is a flying ship. I actually have the books for that in the bedroom, so I'll show you later. And in the middle of trying to board the vessel so you can get to your destination in time, someone decided to dishonor the vessel.
Well, let's face it, before that, someone threw a hissy fit. And for some reason, Plowman was not interested in getting on board, but he was needed to be there to fulfill the quest. And then, yes, whilst we were negotiating options as to how he might get on board, one of the other party members decided to tear down the offending flag, which then had other consequences. Because the flag was the source of the...
Captain Crimson saved the day.
He did.
Right.
He stepped up.
The flag was the source of the flying vessel's capability due to the faith that was worshipped and represented by the crew. And without the flying ability of the ship, there was no way we could get across to Alphatian in time to actually achieve the quest and be prepared for the next one. So, yes, Captain Crimson managed to allay the concerns of the goddess Vanya by giving up his immortal soul and being willing to be her representative on this world.
So
giving up Simurak.
So you
I'm
get
hoping
to,
it's not going to be a messy breakup, though.
so you get to experience flight in an unusual way because you don't actually feel gravity move around you. You don't feel the beating of wings. You don't feel the tug of air or the tilt of the ship.
Or the cramped space of a gnomish airship.
That too. It's fairly
I just want
spacious.
to clarify. Are we saying that they've got some sort of gravity generating technology in this?
What we're saying here is their ship ignores gravity when it flies.
We could make so much money using this for like supply runs and things, hey?
The power of the Immortals is great.
Yeah, no, but Captain Crimson's sitting here thinking about, ooh, this would be so much easier to like transport stuff.
And Captain Crimson has been included as part of the crew, and he's finding out that it's all through faith magic. Someone has to be praying to Vanya at all times for the ship to be powered.
And now that you're a acolyte of Vanya, you might well be able to arrange this for your ships.
I prefer Superfan, but I can definitely take some shifts with the praying as well.
Bradshaw's aware of this because he's been on these ships before, so he's just going, yeah, whatever.
Bradshaw would never have been on one of these before.
Didn't I go on one before?
Oh no, actually you had in the Hollow World.
Yeah.
So not many had.
Yeah, no, I think it's one of the original people that went on one. I'm still in front of our dear barbarian friend while he's tied up and just laughing at him kind of thing. So,
Well, he's not exactly tied up. He has a horse sitting on him.
Oh,
Well, a creature that looks like a horse anyway.
I'm gonna stay down the whole time and just do smart-ass horse jokes and that kind of stuff.
Though it is quite amusing that you see a horse use its hoof to pick a person up and then sit down on top of them. Considering its leg moves in a unarticulated way.
Or at least over-articulated way, one of the two.
Well, it doesn't move with the physical articulation you see on its form.
Exactly.
Can I ask a question?
You can.
There's other acolytes and like clerics on their praying, aren't they?
Yes, they have a room they pray in with an idol.
While we're doing that, like over time, like I don't need it to be of a specific urgency, can I have a discussion with the clerics about the relationship between Vanya and Simarak? Because I was a lowly pirate who knew a little bit about Simarak through to a super Simarak fan. I haven't really paid much attention to anyone else, so... And that will then bring it in line with my knowledge, which is nothing.
You mean you're role-playing really well?
I'm just making sure that the facts line up, yeah.
It's okay, I don't think Vanya has any real connections to Simarak at this stage.
But that also means no negative
Exactly.
connections. So that's not the worst thing.
So on the amusing side is Vanya is a water god, and putting a ship through flight is quite interesting. So yeah, they don't have any links to Irendi at this stage. I'm only a quarter of the way through the different things the gods are patrons of. So who knows by the end of it. They all very much interleaved with each other. So, starting off, the Captain Razzle catches up with Dimitri.
Mm-hmm.
And hands Dimitri a book and says read, and then walks off.
Okay. Well, okay. Dimitri's more than happy to be taking the opportunity to read new material and new sources, and certainly yes, his intent was to try and catch up with Drazel regularly over the next month on the ship. But so obviously this first book might have an impact on what he's asking about or talking about.
So it appears to be a diary with a ritual.
Okay.
It's a diary that describes how certain events need to be used as material components to cast the ritual.
Okay.
And one of them needs to be the complete and utter despair of a civilization.
Okay. Does it specify which civilization?
No, any civilization will do. It has to be something that literally breaks the heart of the civilization.
And how big a civilization are we talking about?
Doesn't matter. But it has to be a actual civilization, not just a settlement.
Mm-hmm. So a civilization of ants probably doesn't quite cut it.
Well, you might not actually know how to break their thing.
If you're dead, that's not so much breaking the heart, it's just destroying the civilization.
Yeah.
And okay. So we've got a material component or a ritual component of this ritual is the destruction of the civilization, causing its complete life to despair.
Another material component is known prophecies. Prophecies of the participants.
Mm-hmm.
How each participant touching the talisman has a task to complete.
Yep. Does it specify the participants in the sense that Dimitri obviously see that reference and think, yep, got that one, I know that we got 7 participants, whatever. So, but does the book correct that misconception that says, does it list the participants or anything like that?
There is a side note that lists 9 people.
9 people, okay. By name?
By name.
Okay, so therefore, yes, you're suddenly aware that Bruce and Drazzle are part of the listing. What name is given for Drazzle?
Captain Razzle.
Captain Razzle, okay.
And it lists it as his second casting of the ritual.
Oh, so he's cast it twice?
He's cast it twice, yes.
Wait. Does that mean that he's already done this? Like, so he's seen what happens already?
Well, that's what I'm about to read in the book, is the sense of, he's not cast it twice with this group of 9 individuals, has he?
No, the first one, he was the sole participant.
Yep.
Noted down that he failed to get the prophecy before he initiated the ritual, which made it very difficult to find out what needed to be done to complete the fracturing time. And that every time he died, he went back to the start of the fracturing time and had to try to figure out what to do, and how he had inadvertently interacted and wiped out multiple versions of himself, going through the same time loop over 1,000 times.
Uh-huh. And the implication being, obviously, that, well, not only is he potentially still stuck in the time loop, and therefore he's called in us to help him fix his problem, but if we don't complete all of the aspects of the ritual, we're also going to be stuck in a time loop.
It does say he eventually figured out how to get out of the time loop.
He did. Okay, yep. And does it explain what he did to actually get out of it?
He managed to save his quest turned out to be to save the people who got captured while he was busy casting the ritual.
Right. So, and...
But it took him over 1,000 attempts to, well, probably more like over 100 attempts to save them.
Yeah. So reading this information gets the understanding that, in fact, the quest that we're about to try and do, and that we're on the first thereof, are actually the components to do the ritual that allows us to do the quest.
Very much so.
Is that correct? Yeah.
And that if the quest dies before the quest is completed, they've got to everyone gets reset.
Mm-hmm.
So when Captain Crimson dies, you all get reset.
Yep.
But
That's never going to happen.
anyone else can die, but until he dies, you can't go back to the start. Which means at some point he's going to have to die.
Okay.
Plowman's going to be so happy.
In the notation, Drazzle has noted down he's probably going to personally kill Bradshaw before that. For including the mount as one of the
The
questions.
stupid goat in front of the questers.
So if anyone else dies before then, they just return to the start point, waiting for the person whose quest it is to go.
Right, okay, yeah. So it's not like the sort of thing that whilst everything gets reset, and I guess Captain Razzle may not know in his notes yet because he's only done it once before, and that was with himself as the only quester. But yes, if, for example, we get halfway through the quest, we've succeeded on 6 of them, for example, and then whoever's the lead on the 7th quest dies partway through and gets reset, is the implication that resets all the quests back to, we've got to redo the first 6 as well, or just the current one?
Most likely just the current one, but every time it resets, it randomly goes to another quest.
Yeah, again, obviously, it's potentially Razzle's notes may not have full detail on that because he hasn't necessarily experienced this ritual with multiple quest scenario.
Well, he has a theory down behind, and what anyone who casts a spell generally knows what the spell will do.
Yeah.
So it's got down for multiple questers. Here's what's expected.
Okay, cool. Happy with that.
Which means you have an understanding that if you kill the current quester, it resets the time to the time that the timeline was shattered. And then you continue on with a random other quester.
Yeah, and we may come back to that original one. So.
We may come back to that original one, yes.
And in his first iteration of the ritual, did he have to destroy or cause the utter despair for a civilization?
No, he didn't cause it. It was caused by the death of the Emperor's husband.
Mm-hmm.
And he noted down the second...
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just a question, we talked about the fact that if we do, so for example, 2 separate quests, we can't interact with each other, right?
Yeah.
Is it possible, if we do have to go into a similar place, can you complete one of the secondary quests while doing another one? So instead of us doing 7, we found that we only need to do 6 because we managed to knock off 2 in 1.
There are warnings there you can only complete the quest of the active quester.
Perfect. Okay.
And if you actually manage to complete another quest, this thing, they can never complete the quest when their turn comes up because it's already been done.
Yeah.
And so you'll basically find yourself in a permanent loop. That's the fine print warning in the spell. After the spell is cast.
Yeah, I appreciate the fine print. It helps.
Okay. And this spell has a lot of fine print. That Demetra will explain in great and excruciating detail, even in finer print, that obviously no one will listen to.
And that all major decisions need to be made by the quester.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, he has circled Captain Crimson as a quester.
Yeah. But obviously, the quester can receive advice from his fellows before they come to this.
Very happy to make it a group effort. I'm not particularly worried about my ego.
And under this section is also underlined twice, must kill Bradshaw beforehand.
I have to kill Bradshaw.
That's one of the side notes.
Yeah, but I got the impression of the fact that that was Razzle's addendum that his personal quest is part of the process. Is that right?
Yes, that is part of his personal quest.
That's part of this. That's how Demetrius interpreting the writings.
As a player, Mark, are you okay?
As a player,
Are you feeling some kind of deja vu here?
No, I feel like a bit of a discrimination against from the DM to me right at the moment, so I'm going to talk to my lawyer solicitor about this and I'll get back to you later.
It's perfectly okay. Bradshaw does not need to worry at all.
Bradshaw has no idea about this right now, so that's okay.
Well, and he won't know about it, because obviously, A, Dimitri won't bother actually passing on that particular element of the Razzle side quest, and B, even if he did, Bradshaw wouldn't hear it, so it wouldn't matter.
It's going to be very interesting me talking to the horse now, and then find out that the horse probably wants to kill me later, but that's another thing. I'll find out later. That's okay. I'm going to play the character, don't worry about it.
That's okay. I thought I'd give you something plenty to play with. And the final note down there is that to end the time loop, after completing the prophecy, the quester needs to die.
Mm-hmm.
And that removes everyone from the timeline at that point.
Yeah.
I actually think that's kind of handy because I could probably call on Simarak to punish me.
Well, no, it won't matter.
Make amends.
No, that won't matter, because the idea is that right now, and whatever the date was, we were standing in the centre of Ethengar, in the centre of a paddock. At dawn, we disappeared. Well, big fireworks happened, and we walked off to the north. We went off the wall, jumped on the ship. When we get to Alphatian, we try and burn their Armada, possibly causing destruction, despair throughout the whole civilization while it's a sideline, handy. And then Crimson dies. Then we get transported back to a field in the middle of Ethengar, 6 months or so prior, where all 9 of us were going to be there, and we can head off in a different direction. You don't need to get reconnected because you actually gone back in time to that spot where we fractured time anyway.
No, I get that, but what does that mean for my arrangement with Vanya? Like, does that get reset too?
As far as Dimitri, for what Dimitri understood from your agreement, you've done that for the rest of your existence.
Well, actually, no, I said for that fleet. I did actually say for that fleet.
Yeah, but is that what she accepted?
Yeah, no, she said, so be it. That was the exact words.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, you know how Immortals can be. You have to wait and see.
It's like Faye, when you give them your name, literally you can give them your name.
Like that would ever happen to anyone.
True. Only the character on Tuesday lost his name.
Okay. And that was even to an immortal. Well, not an immortal in the sense that we think of them.
So yes, so you've had a very interesting read about how badly it can happen when you run into yourself and affect the timeline.
Yeah.
And that there are spirits that protect the timeline, so if you do interact and alter your existing path as you remember it, spirits will come and remove you from existence.
And that might well be complete existence for all the timelines, so you don't get back to the start.
Very much so.
If we haven't done your quest at that point in time, then we're not going to get your quest done. And the world ends.
And at least you know how it ends.
Yeah. The aspect of the ritual component that involves the destruction and despair of the civilization.
Yep.
Is that once for the one ritual, or is that going to end up being once for every iteration of the questing?
Well, each iteration of the questing uses that one instance. That's where the time fracture occurs.
Yeah.
So the despair of the people gives it an anchor to return to. So it's been done once, so it doesn't have to be done again.
Yeah. Okay, so technically, so it's already happened as far as we're aware?
Yeah, so it had to have happened for the ritual to be cast.
That one, but obviously that was the problem with the fact that apparently all the quests have to have happened for the ritual to be cast. So
the prophecies had to have happened.
Yeah.
The warning there is if the prophecy hasn't happened, then it's random luck to whether or not you can actually appease the Time Lords in your travels.
Yeah. So, but that's what I'm saying. From a because the ritual's cast or has been cast, we know that a civilization has been destroyed or
Not destroyed, just sent into despair.
It's utter despair. But from the characters' perceptions, has that event happened?
With the wiping out of all the horses and history of one of the national heroes.
Right, okay, yeah, so that counted as the event.
That was the event.
Happy with that.
So we can remember it.
You can remember it, yes.
Yeah,
Right.
and so, because, I mean, from our perspective, that happened the night before, the evening before the ritual was cast, so...
And apparently the ritual gets cast not on the day it happens, but after the event.
But I mean, so it's the sort of thing that, well, from Dimitri's perspective, hey, that didn't really bother him too much, and he hadn't really paid attention to the fact that, maybe that was a bit more on the Ethingarians that he would pay attention to. So he's glad to hear that, hey, good, that component's done and dusted, no problem. We don't need to go around fighting the civilization every time to actually destroy it, or despair.
Well, destroying it doesn't work.
No, because it wouldn't actually be the despair. So. Admittedly, as soon as you suggested that, Dimitri was thinking, nah, why don't we get that back down to the Hollywood and get rid of some of those? But, okay.
I'm sure the Millennials could deal with a little bit of cultural despair.
Well, I mean, obviously, their despair would be the realisation if Dimitri says he wasn't actually son of Hellev.
Yeah.
That would cause obvious despair.
Or he could just go live among them for a while until they get to know him. That would be pretty despairing.
No, you mean uplifting. Okay, well...
An afternoon would be enough just to...
Well, I mean, that's obviously not true, because technically he was there for not even an afternoon, and they effectively crowned him emperor.
He had been put into a position of power.
Of course, considering who the other option for the emperor was at the time, there's probably a bit of a 50-50 options.
And on the bright side for the civilization, Dimitri succeeded it onto the previous emperor.
That's right. I generously stepped down from the empire wall to hand it back to the dead emperor.
Okay, so while you've been reading that, Captain Razzle goes and finds Captain Crimson.
That's me.
It is.
Hi, how are you, good sir, good captain?
Yeah, he says, Razzle is fine. Razzle needs Crimson to do task.
What task do you need of me?
Learn how to use crystal in chapel.
Okay, so control the ship.
Yes.
Okay, I'm very happy to do that. So, would you like me to learn from you, or would you like me to go and watch the clerics and learn from them?
They all think him someone else. You need
They
to
all think...
They all think him someone else.
Right. So I guess I have to go talk to the clerics.
He nods and then walks off.
Okay. Can I go into the prayer chapel?
Yep, the back of the main floor of the ship itself is a chapel with pews and altar. You can see a statuesque carving of the immortal Vanya at the end of the chapel. And
I know Grace isn't here, but can I give my book of Simrak to Little Miss to look after?
You can.
Yeah, I just do that just so there's no issues.
And you do see sitting embedded in the altar is a diamond about the size of your palm.
It's not a good thing for a pirate to see. Can I, is there a cleric there praying at the moment?
Yes, there's 3 clerics currently praying.
Okay. Would you say there's one that's dressed a little bit better, looks a bit more elderly or something like that?
Yes, there is one of those.
May I go over and introduce myself?
Okay, he makes a sign of respect to his god and says, how may I help you, Sir Crimson?
I have been asked to learn the way of the crystal so that I can use my dedication to Vanya to help steer and control the vessel.
Well, the crystal is the focus that provides all that we use.
Then I would ask, very humbly, that you could show me how this works.
Well, he says just sit in prayer, and through prayer you will hear the voice of Vanya guiding you.
Okay. In that case, I would like to sit on the ground, cross my legs, and mentally roll the dice to see how well I am at connecting.
Religion roll. See how good he rolls. But no for him. Natural 1. Whoops.
I hope not. Can I turn my camera on? It's a 20.
Is that 20? I will accept that you said it's a 20.
It's a natural 20.
Because to be honest, you rarely get those, so I'm quite happy to say you actually got one.
Yeah, it's a 20. That's a natural 20, so 21.
Okay, as you start to pray, you feel yourself connected to this ship as if you can feel how it ignores gravity. And it allows it to fly by pretty much displacing itself, not by providing any form of propulsion.
Okay, cool. So it's not propelling itself anywhere, it's just moving itself from one point to another in very, very small jumps.
No, it's basically just forcing itself through the air without any form of propulsion.
Okay.
And so the screaming you hear of it flying is the air hitting the vessel and coming careering. Basically, the vessel making it make a screeching sound as it goes past.
That's awesome. Okay. So I guess while I'm doing this, obviously this is a new thing for me to be praying to Vanya. Do I feel any difference in my, I won't say powers, but do I feel anything new or innate kind of bursting out in me?
Well, you can feel you can direct the vessel to a different direction, change its course, its height, its speed. Though it is faster than anything you've been on before.
Okay. But I'm not feeling like any sort of affinity to the wind or any terrible stuff like that a all-seeing god like DM might put on me while not looking.
Not at this stage.
Implication.
Though it is a water god that you have connected to.
Fair enough. Alright. Well, in that case, I would like to practice that for a few hours to make sure that it's something that I can repeat quite comfortably. And then I would like to seek out Captain Rezel again.
Okay. So, while you're doing that, Captain Rezel goes down and has a word with Plarmon, the barbarian. I will give Bradshaw a perception roll to see if he can hear what Rezel says.
Okey-dokey. Hang on. Give me a section. Perception is pretty crap, I believe. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Typical Bradshaw roll, don't worry about that.
That good, huh?
I got a 4 on the dice, and I don't think I've even got a +4, so I don't think it's anything special.
Okay. So you managed to pick up the end of the conversation as Russell then tells Playman, kill them all, and then walks off. You did miss the rest of the conversation.
Okay, I'm just looking at Plowman's eyes when he said that.
He's all
You're
excited.
enjoying the beer.
Is Plowman still under the horse's knee?
He seems to have calmed down a lot. And he actually looks excited.
Must have been the talk to Dimitri gave him earlier. Explain the situation.
Okay, can I just look at his kind of... I hear that, I'm looking at his eyes. Does he look anything different from me? I know him pretty well, you know. Does he look like he's...
He looks quite eager.
But does it look like he's kind of... I don't know, because I'm not a magic believer as a dwarven warrior. Does it look like he's being manipulated? That's what I'm looking at.
Well, considering he's been spoken to by Dimitri and this strange dragonborn, of course he's been manipulated.
Okay, cool. I didn't want to roll insight or anything like that.
They may not have cast a spell on him, or they may have. Hard to tell. But considering he's a barbarian, his mind's not so strong.
Okay. Now the horse is still there, is it? Or?
Yeah, the horse is looking at you directly.
I'm going to go back up where everyone else is, kind of slowly, just wandering back up. Is Bruce with me? I can't know if I left Bruce with me or was he upstairs?
You don't know where Bruce is at the moment.
Okay. I'm going to look at the horse, look at Plowman, kind of ask Plowman if he's okay.
Plowman is grinning manically.
I don't like that look of Plowman because I know how that goes before. The horse I don't trust right now. I'd like to be around other people if I'm going to get killed. No, hang on. I'm going to word it differently. I feel that I'm in danger from Plowman, and the horse being there is a horse. I don't trust the horse based on Bruce's scare of the horse.
Well, it's surprising
the
that.
cost of us dying. Would we just get reset?
Well, once Dimitri explains it to you, do you listen to Dimitri's explanation? Or does your character time out because it's too technical?
I'm happy to listen.
I think Trellen seems to have been accepting the fact that Dimitri does know stuff. He might not present it in the most palatable manner, but he does know stuff.
So I would have to say it'd be a Constitution saving throw to see if you can actually listen through Dimitri's explanation.
Okay.
Which is funny because I've got advantage in Constitution saving throws, so I must be really good at listening to Dimitri. I'm just going to keep myself...
So, back to Martin's roll. What did Martin roll?
So what is it for?
Constitution saving throw for trying to avoid the effects
Stay
of
away.
fatigue.
Okay. I think I've got a pretty good plus, but I don't have proficiency in it, so...
It's okay, not everyone does. It's not a common saving throw.
Oh, yeah, +2. 14.
14. Okay, you do manage to stay awake and get most of the points.
Alright.
It's up to you if you want to ask any cross points.
No.
Okay, so we'll see how much Bradshaw stayed awake. So Bradshaw gets to have advantage on his.
I'm not there, Martin. I'm still downstairs.
That's okay. At some point, you were caught up to by Dimitri as well.
Dimitri will be catching everyone at some point to explain the situation.
Okay.
He'll probably aim to try and do it more as a group, and then catch up the ones that fell asleep later on.
When Dimitri comes down and talks to Bradshaw downstairs with Plowman and the horse,
Yeah.
Hey, Dimitri, I don't often ask you this. Does Plowman look okay to you?
While he's stuck under a horse?
No, he's not stuck under a horse anymore. See? My point. They're separated from the horse and the barbarian. He just got that look in his eye.
Only slightly crazed.
I've seen that look before. Usually it's good before battle. But we're not really in a battle situation. Anyway, you gonna say something? Sorry. What distracted? Constitution roll through, Mark?
Yeah, Constitution saving throw.
The advantage roll again, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to be fine. 18 plus some godly number.
So apparently you are so wrapped with everything Dimitri's saying that you love how the dice are playing for you.
27 would have been.
You're hanging off every word.
I'm sitting in front of Dimitri with my hands under my chin going, wow, oh, wow. Does he talk about the 9 names or anything like that at any stage? Or like, does he mention
You'll certainly be commenting on the fact that there are apparently 9 quests to complete. And that the 7 of us in the group, plus Captain Razzle,
yeah,
and that. You required that Bruce be touching the tablet at the time. Bruce got a quest. You better find out what it is, because otherwise we can't win.
Well, I don't know. It doesn't listen to me. What do you expect me to find out?
It could be a quest like the Viscon or something.
You brought him into the ritual?
I motioned Bruce over.
Bruce is still nowhere to be seen.
Oh, Bruce. Oh, okay. Well, okay. So Bruce has got a quest. Do you have any idea what the quest is at all, or is it not on the list that you got?
I don't know, but the ritual explanation just lists the names of the questers.
Okay.
The questers know what their individual quest is, based upon information that they received either prior to the ritual, as for many of us, or possibly during the ritual.
Well, Plowman used to be really good at talking to Bruce. Maybe we ask Plowman to talk to Bruce, but I don't know anyone that's got. Who else isn't? Oh, I think Little Miss and Bruce get along, but I don't know about anyone else. Bruce doesn't get along with a lot of people, including me, of course. So I think that we might have a problem there. Just put it out there.
On the bright side, we've probably got at least a few months to try and find it out, and then possibly some more, unless he's considered to be the second quester.
Okay, I wonder how long it takes to...
So whilst we believed, we started this quest for Captain Crimson's quest on the idea that it's the furthest away and therefore the least opportunity for meeting ourselves, which is obviously a bad thing to do. The ritual is actually designed or works in such a manner that we don't actually get the choice as to what order we're going to do the quest in.
Okay.
And also don't necessarily find out what the order of the quest is going to be until each quest, the reset of time on each one.
Well, okay. Was there anything else that we should know? This is where you say you do not tell me whether I'm doing a die or not. That's what I'm pretty much getting to, Jeremy. I'll leave it up to you whether you want to explain anything else that was written in the book, but if you don't, I understand.
Oh, no. So, Dimitri will explain that the part of the ritual, the quester, and in this case it will be Captain Crimson as the first up. The quester in each quest must die at the end of the quest. But the good news is, considering that the completion of the quest, presumably the act or, well, in fact, actually no, specifically the death of the quester is what causes the ritual to reset so we can begin the next quest. So therefore, the quester will still be there because they're still part of that original quest, the original ritual.
But does that bypass the whole him writing down that he wants to kill Bradshaw?
Nope.
Well, no. That could be part of the. Okay, no. Dimitri will explain that all the questers must die at the end of the quest. He's not going to actually comment on the fact that Basil has a particular concern against Bradshaw, because he certainly Dimitri read that and thought, yep, fair enough. There might be a queue, but particularly on the idea that, hang on, yes, we can kill him, but he'll still be around. So we can get the satisfaction of killing him 8 or 9 times.
Bradshaw as a previous has a bit of a mastery in dying. Is happy to explain to people if Dimitri wants to how the process goes. If he needs that, it might smoothen the whole situation. So I'll offer that to Dimitri. If Dimitri wants.
Certainly, your experience at committing ritual suicide may well be advantageous on the idea that if the quester does survive until the end of the quest, then if they are willing to commit seppuku or ritual suicide or any other term by which it might be known, it saves the party killing you. Well then, complete slip of the tongue with Dimitri saying you and he'll get it. That's Bradshaw.
Yeah, I kind of looked at you strange when you mentioned that Japanese term, but dwarves go, well, we call it kind of smashing the empty keg. It's probably another term for it, but we don't often talk about it. It's not the kind of thing that we try to do. Because
can't be accepted.
Well, it's not really, because we believe once you die, you die. So I'm a bit unique in that way, and it hasn't gone over 100% well last time I visited my hometown. But people need to kind of smooth this kind of thing. Yeah.
It's also not something that they generally choose to do. It's more something they roll to do.
That's right. But look, I'm happy to kind of, provide that kind of understand of what you go through, how it feels, all that kind of stuff. You end up with dreams thinking about all the great things you like beer and beer and beer and things like that. So, but look, that's okay. I still kind of mention again, something wrong with Plowman. I keep giving a glance over every so often. So, but if Dimitri goes back up, I'll follow Dimitri up slowly. Just leave Plowman by himself.
So obviously Dimitri will basically brush off concerns about Plowman on the idea that, well, yes, he's coming to terms with the situation, but hey, he is still on a Haldanic night ship, so it might take him some while to actually settle completely. I'm not certain also that he was looking forward to the idea of fighting alongside the Haldanic Knights when we get to the Alphatian Empire.
Sorry, back. I was just letting you talk while I had to
Yep, that's cool.
duck off and get some books. So that was one example.
Dimitri just up explaining that.
So, example of one of the airships you're off to destroy. The example of the airship you're flying on.
Oh my goodness.
So that's an example of what you're currently flying on.
Really?
What? So 5 of us or whatever?
All of you are on that.
Okay, there's the whole party plus all the Haldanic Knight crew.
Yep. It can carry 10 tons.
And Bruce.
Yeah, of cargo plus lift capacity of 175 tons.
So I can carry a few people.
Is the bird part living?
No, it is all made out of wood.
Oh, okay.
Completely made out of wood and no moving pieces whatsoever. So the fact that it's actually moving is something that freaks out most people.
Purely magical.
Not just purely magical, completely religious.
Right. Divine.
So, I mean, it's not even. It doesn't even. If it was built by the gnomes, the wings would flap. The wings don't even flap.
The wing that there are absolutely no moving pieces except for their ballistas and catapult and their the disintegration ray they have at the top of the ship.
Hey, it was built by Nigel when he flying. But anyway.
And
Well-
the one thing that Captain Crimson finds out is the only magical aspect of the ship is the diamond embedded in the altar. Nothing else on the ship has magic.
What? Not even his tabard?
Not even his tabard. Everything is a reflection of that diamond. And the diamond is an artifact of Vanya.
Is that control room accessible to others while on the monk's journey?
Yes. It is a chapel, and there are 3 priests in there at all times, plus 2 of the knights.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's what I was the idea. Dimitri will certainly be aiming to explore every inch of the ship while we're travelling, including that ritual, the prayer room. When he sees the diamond and presumably recognises its power, he will actually take a bit of a look and compare it to Yem's diamond, and just think about whether or not it might be another part of the crown.
It's a different cut.
It's a different cut.
It doesn't look like it will sit in place with it. It is a single piece. It doesn't look like it's part of a whole.
Yeah, it's not designed to be. It's whole in itself. It's not part of a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the altar seems to be built around the diamond, not the diamond built for the altar.
Okay. And by extension, I'm guessing the ship has been built around the altar?
The ship has been built around the altar, yes.
Yeah. So basically, yes. The architect of the ship had the diamond floating in the air somewhere and they built it around it.
No, you think that the artifact was granted by the goddess as to her worshippers, and it'll be one of a couple that they have.
Yeah.
So they can't actually replicate it unless their goddess provides.
Oh yeah, no, but I was going to say, but the artifact is the diamond itself, not the ship.
Yep.
Yeah,
The
so-
ship
so-
can be any shape, size,
Yeah.
whatever it wants. It's the stone itself that provides the lift and power.
Yeah.
And the disconnect to forces of gravity.
But the implication, if Bradshaw said that he'd previously flown on one of these ships before.
He never actually made it into the chapel previously.
No, that's right. I was just thinking, but is the implication then that the Haldanic Knights actually have lots of these ships, or is it just they've only got maybe a couple of them because that's how many artifacts have been granted?
Oh, I think I saw a couple, didn't I?
You saw 3 previously together, and they were each of 2 of them were this size, and one was big enough for one of these vessels to land inside its hangar.
Yep, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Dimitri, I passed that information on.
So okay, certainly it's sort of thing that going through. And depending upon whether Plowman is talkative at all during the travel time, Dimitri also had a question from Plowman. The idea, okay, is in the attack by the Haldanic Knights upon the Uyghur and the Ethangarians, do they normally fly in these ships, or is it the Ethangarians come across these ships regularly or not?
so you normally get from Plumber, no, busy, talk later. As he walks away from you.
Okay, he obviously so now Dimitri's thinking, maybe Bradshaw's onto something, because let's face it, that was way too polite for Plumber for Dimitri. Talk later? What the?
So after the first night, as you've gone and caught everyone up, one of the high priest comes and finds Captain Crimson and says one of their Knight Protectors has gone missing. Do you know what happened?
No, I don't. When was he last seen?
He was last seen before sunset last night.
Okay. Okay, let's get the line right. So, has Dimitri been sharing everything that Bradshaw has passed on about him being weird at the moment?
No, that wouldn't come up. And but listen, the thing remember okay, as far as the initial telling of all the party members about the ritual, ideally that would have all happened at one, like it would have gathered you all together in one group to do it. Possibly down in the hold where Plum was being held at that moment in time, and then obviously he'd aim to catch up with you individually if there are any questions or concerns thereafter.
Which means we should see if Sir Clovis actually stayed awake long enough to actually understand. So I'll get him to do a Constitution saving throw.
Oh dear. I got an 8.
Okay, so the first time you completely glassed out, he was saying something, you thought it was important, and he finished talking and walked away, and it's like, all you got was, and then we all die.
That's where I realized the conversation was important. Oh no.
So, you go and chase Dimitri up. What do you tell Dimitri?
About what?
If you want to find out more about why you're all going to die.
As my character.
Yeah.
Well, my character would know about the prophecies and the talisman, right?
Well, you didn't really get the talisman explained to you. The person who cast the ritual basically brought the talisman out at the last moment and said, "Touch talisman."
So he tricked us.
Well, he basically didn't explain anything because he didn't have the time.
Right. The sum total of the explanation we got before we left was be at this location before dawn.
Yep, that was the explanation he gave.
And whilst Dimitri was aiming to try and find out more about what this meaning was, other members of the party kept interfering with that investigation, and therefore we didn't know much before we left.
And it took him 2.5 hours to cast the ritual.
So Clovis will say, Dimitri, what were you trying to explain to me just now? I was listening to every word you said. It's just...
Arranging it in a coherent order
is really difficult.
Challenge.
Yeah.
You were so busy, what you're trying to tell me is you were so busy listening you didn't hear what I said.
The forest for the trees, yes.
Which sadly is fairly common.
Always happy to correct and educate those of lesser knowledge and understanding. Especially Dan Brandon's. Okay, so Dimitri will take the time to explain it further, and probably, since we're stuck on this boat for a month, he'll ensure there's a few more iterations of it to ensure that he's fully understood by the Knight of Brenda.
Okay. Fully grilled into him, eh?
So is it done in the equivalent of a PowerPoint presentation for everyone?
Well, I was going to say, obviously we don't actually, hang on. Minor image, make image.
Mm-hmm.
I've just been told that the knight is missing, right?
Yep, the knight is missing.
Can I grab Little Miss and give me a hand and walk around the ship and have a quick look? looking for clues, blood.
Little Miss is all happy to help you, and she's giving you so much help you have disadvantage on your investigation check.
I really was hoping to get away with that. Okay, let's have a look. So investigation and disadvantage. Investigation. Yeah. So that's a 9 is the lowest.
You have a so is that with your bonus?
Yeah, the +1.
Okay, so yes, you have a good look around the ship. You find nothing that stands out, and Little Miss keeps pointing you in various directions while you're doing so, trying to be very helpful and talking fast, making you extremely suspicious of her motives, knowing her quite well as you do.
Interesting. Okay. Can I go and speak to Captain Razzle?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to ask if he knew what happened.
He said yes.
Did someone on this boat kill him?
Razzle shrugs.
Is the knight still alive?
Razzle sort of looks over the side of the boat and shrugs.
Right. Okay, so he's been thrown over.
Alright.
Alright.
He might have learned to fly on the way down.
Can I bring everyone together, like in our party? I'm not particularly worried about the clerics and that at this stage.
Mm-hmm.
And can I sort of just... Alright guys, we've lost one of the knights. Razzle's giving me some sort of indication he's gone over the side. Has anyone seen anything? Does anyone know anything? Does anyone have any thoughts on it? And while that's happening, can I watch very closely at all of the members as they respond to try and see if I can notice something?
Okay, give me a insight roll.
That's a 16? Oh no, 15.
15 total.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the people who know are so convincing you have no idea if anyone of the group actually knows what's going on.
Okay.
The lowest they rolled was a 17.
They're all good. Okay.
Is that include me from what I... if I hear this information, can I just look at Dimitri?
Sure.
What would that include me?
Yeah. Okay. So you do notice that Dimitri looks at Bradshaw looks at Dimitri in the middle of your explanation.
And I look back again. That's all you're going to see from me. That's all. You're not going to get anything else.
No, that's all right. Can I wait till we're all done, and then can I take Bradshaw aside?
Yep.
Dimitri will make the explanation or the statement, but so you're saying that one of the Haldanic Knights has been thrown overboard?
Yes.
And Hyman has been allowed free reign of the ship?
So when that's said, does Plowman say or do anything?
Captain Razzle vouches for Plowman.
How does he vouch for him though? What are the exact words that come out of that crazy guy's mouth?
Captain Razzle vouches for Plowman. That's its exact words. He uses his name in the third person.
So Captain Razzle is part of the group as part of this right now?
Yeah, I figured he would be.
I'm happy with that, that's cool. Yeah. That does not mean that Plowman was not involved.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. What are you vouching for Plowman for?
So I'm gonna write that down in my brain.
Razzle responds with yes and nods and then walks away.
So I'd like to take Bradshaw aside and be like, hey, kneecap to kneecap, because that's how tall we are.
You got your stilts on, remember?
Yeah, I hop off them so we can have
a eye-to-eye discussion.
Yeah, be nice. Yeah. So you gave me a look, and I'm concerned because I feel like, are we talking like Razzle gives me some weird things sometimes, or do you know anything?
Where are we at? Where are we at right now? Where are we actually? In like on the top of the ship, where everyone sees us?
In the hold of the ship near the horse, which is currently eyeing Bradshaw.
If the horse is looking at me, I'm not saying a word. Right.
Can I notice that and maybe walk you away from the horse a bit?
You keep walking away because the horse budge and follow.
Well, I'm assuming that with Dr. Razzle moving away and apparently Captain Crimson and Bradshaw going off for a private conversation, that effectively the group discussion is over, people are dispersing.
Yep, I believe people are dispersing.
I finished it to talk to Bradshaw because I noticed that was the only response I got.
What do you mean the only response you got?
The only response that was beyond I don't know.
Dimitri didn't say I don't know.
So Dimitri is also joining in the conversation apparently,
Dimitri
as everyone else
says
heads off.
Dimitri says a lot of things.
Some of them are true.
But
it's the figuring out which one.
no, everything Dimitri says is true.
From a certain point of view.
According to Dimitri.
That's true.
I walk off on Dimitri.
Mm-hmm.
And I take Bradshaw away from the horse. I'll be like, what do you know?
How far away is the horse now?
The horse is curled up in a rather awkward manner, but seems to be ignoring you now.
Okay. As long as the horse is ignoring me, I said. Now, I don't know if I was half asleep at the time at all. All I heard is our new friend say, kill everyone. Then look at Plowman's eyes, and I look at his eye that usually means he's going to kill everyone. So, now, I could have been mistaken by the whole thing.
Has he killed everyone?
He hasn't killed everyone. So, but I'm just telling this to Captain Crimson. Just saying, I don't know. It just seems too familiar that he said kill everyone, and then all of a sudden the guard supposedly flies. Did they find the body of the guard, or was it
No.
just
No evidence that the guard was even there.
Okay.
That is actually what Dimitri's going to go off and do. He's going to do his own search investigation of the ship as part of his looking at.
Don't let anyone help you.
As you head off, Little Miss goes to help Dimitri.
I don't know. But I'm just putting 2 and 2 together to get 5, and because that's as far as a dwarf can use the count. And there's something not quite right. I think something's wrong with Plowman. I said that horse has been sitting on him a long time. I think it might have screwed with his brain, but usually when he says kill everyone, he kills everyone. He didn't kill everyone. That's unusual for Plowman. You should know this. When he says he wants to kill everyone, he kills everyone. Yeah, we know this.
It wasn't Plowman who said it. It was the captain who said it.
Yeah.
Oh, but I say so. The captain said to Plowman, if Plowman gets the authority to kill everyone, he usually kills everyone. So to me, it's like something's not quite right there.
I pat you on the shoulder and I go, okay, this is going to require some very fine diplomacy.
Okay, I'm
So
out.
I walk up to Captain Razzle and I go, did you tell Plowman to kill everybody?
He looks at you and says, Captain Russell, not tell anyone do anything.
Did you talk to Plowman about killing people?
Plowman likes killing people. That's his favourite topic.
Does that mean that he killed the guard?
He not kill guard.
Did he help the guard on his journey over the side of the ship?
He tilts his head and looks at you and says, Russell, not sure about question.
Okay, now I'm going to Plowman. Why did you kill the knight?
He says, no, he didn't kill any knight at all. With a big grin.
He's a big grin.
It's pretty suspicious.
Apparently an extremely big grin showing lots of teeth. And dimples.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've never seen the dimples before.
Okay. Carmen, if you kill any more of them, the ship will fall into the water and we will all die. You can't do it.
And to which point he responds to you that not knights not make the ship fly. Sounding very much like Razzle as he then walks off.
Okay, so Dimitri's not talking like Razzle, and Bradshaw's not talking like Razzle.
Mm-hmm.
Little Miss is,
Yeah.
and Palmer is.
Mm-hmm.
What about
Trellen and Sir Emlis.
I was just going to say the not so midget halfling elfling person. So
The elf.
yeah, I still think you're a halfling. You just
He grew up.
abnormal.
Yeah, that's right.
You got natural skills.
He's no longer a real boy.
So if I speak to both Trellian and Sir Clovis, do either of them respond in intonation, tone, attitude that would make me think of Razzle?
Would either of you like to?
No.
No.
Okay, in which case, no, they don't.
Okay. So now I'm going to go back to Razzle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say, Razzle, you don't want me to call you captain, so just Razzle. You bastard. I want to know what you're doing to my party, because they're now talking like you, and I'm pretty sure we're going to lose more people, and that's why you wanted me to learn how to fly the ship, so that you could off the clerics and that, and I don't know why. And
He pats you on the shoulder and says, you smart, you figure out, and then he walks off on you again.
Okay, so can I pull the party together, because I don't want to exclude anyone, but I'm just going to look at Dimitri, Bradshaw, Clovis, and Torellian. I'm just going to ignore the other ones completely.
Mm-hmm.
Are you including Razzle in the party at this point?
Brazzle can stand behind us if he likes.
Hang on. Bruce. Did you include Bruce?
I was about to ask that myself, so.
You haven't seen Bruce since you've come aboard.
Yeah.
Hey, can I ask before I ever start? Where's Bruce? Has anyone seen Bruce?
Did you enjoy your stew today?
Did you say that to me right now?
He does.
Yes.
I gotta pick him up on that temple always throwing that off the thing. That's something you don't kind of mess with Bradshaw with.
No, that's fair. Opposing strength roll?
That would be yes.
Okay.
Actually, opposing athletics if you got it.
Have a look.
Whereas, okay, as you guys are wrestling with each other, Dimitri will say, well, maybe that was his quest.
Athletics.
It would involve his death at the end of the quest. We do have the problem that you've done 2 in 1, though. That could be a problem.
Mark,
Okay.
I won't kick you up. I want to just bear hug you if that's alright.
Okay.
Alright. With my bonus, it's a 26.
You beat me by... No, we're tied.
Both got 26. So you see this grunting and swearing between the dwarf and the halfling as they try to grapple
All I
and
say,
move each other.
Take it back now. Take it back.
It was a joke.
Giving time for Dimitri to pontificate about the possible absolute fact that, well, yeah, you might have killed one of the questers, but that might have successfully his quest, so that could be a good thing. Can we get reset? So possibly not.
Well, it wasn't his quest,
I don't know
so
what happened to him. I was making a joke. Calm your tits.
Good. Okay, I'll walk off looking for Bruce.
Awesome. So I would like to talk. No, I grab him by the shoulder and be like, "No, I need you here for this."
But then we go look for Bruce, right?
Okay, that's fine.
Good. Deal.
So, guys, I've done a little bit of research, and some of us are acting a little bit different to others. And Razzle has essentially told me that he wants me to learn how to fly the ship because he's getting someone, and I kind of just look at Flarman for a second and then look back, to off all of the knights, and I'm assuming the clerics too.
Well, that's a problem.
I'm just...
I'm planning on using them as part of our attack on the Alphatian thing to be able to kill them all up.
I'm also concerned about my ability to pray for like 3 weeks on my own. Because every time I'm not praying, it turns off, right?
Every time someone's not praying, yes, the ship will then plummet.
So I'm a little bit concerned about that, and I just... Like, obviously, this is my quest and all that stuff. But I feel like Dimitri, Bradshaw, Clovis, Trellen, I feel like we need to talk about how we're going to handle this. Because we need Razzle. This is the problem. We need him. But I feel like that's a really bad thing that he's making happen.
Hey, I'll just look over to Razzle. He's behind the party, I assume. Is that right?
He's sitting next to Horse.
So Razzle, or Razzle, whatever. Yeah, okay. I assume you want the nights off so we don't have any sort of people going against what you want to do with the ship.
Razzle not want anything.
Well, hopefully you want the completion of the quests, so therefore we're not all stuck in a time limit. In your case, again.
Let's just put it this way.
Actually, no, let's ask him. Do you want us to complete this quest?
Razzle does, but conditions need to be met.
Are there any conditions you haven't told us yet?
Plenty.
Can you tell us now?
He looks at you directly and says, no.
Can you tell me, is there a way to save these clerics and the knight? Because I am, an acolyte now, and these people are important.
You hear a burst of laughter come from Plarman and Little Miss.
So he's got some kind of madness that's spreading to other people?
Not particularly. They are the cultural enemies of Plarman.
Okay. I have a question. Are we over water or land right now?
Currently over land.
Okay. I would like to go to the clerics and ask them to land the ship.
Okay. They say they can't land. If they do, they may not take off again.
So, from my experience before, do I feel comfortable that I could take off again, or is that a bit of an issue too?
You have a feeling that the artifact is not permanent. And
so if you land, it might turn off.
And if it lands, the artifact may be expended.
Okay. Could I discuss with them a plan where we fly low and they jump off?
They don't think that's a great plan because this is pretty much their church.
I understand that, but we're being forced into a situation where... And they're listening to Razzle, aren't they? Because Razzle's like their leader.
You're a bit confused about that. They're calling him captain, but they sort of refer to him as if he's one of them.
And they did technically, apparently they handed the ship over to Razzle when we first arrived.
Right.
Which is why Adrian suggested that, maybe we could talk to the captain about getting the flag lowered.
I am worried that he's going to offer... I'm worried that he's offering you to the... And is he an Ethin... What race is... nationality is Plarman again?
He is Ethingarian.
Yeah, and he's Ethingarian. Okay, cool. I'm worried that he's going to sacrifice you to the Ethingarian, and I don't know why.
So you don't trust the captain? He's looking a bit confused at this stage.
I don't understand the captain. It's not a trust issue. I believe he has, the end goal in mind, but I am following Venya, and I feel a paternal need to look after you. 4. Of which there used to be 5.
You deliberately went off to talk to the priests and the knights by yourself, didn't you?
Yes, I did, yeah.
So there are all up 9 clerics on board. And,
Oh, is that? Right, I thought there was only 3 and then 1 knight, sorry.
No, so that there are 3 clerics on at any one time. And there were 12 knights on board. Now there's 11.
Okay. I tell them that I'm going to do everything I can to keep them safe.
Mm-hmm.
And I go back to Razzle and I say you can't kill, you cannot allow any more of the clerics or knights to die.
He says it's not up to him.
But it is, because you're taking steps which are forcing it to happen.
He says, do you wish to complete your task?
I do.
Both cannot happen.
I kind of interject here with Captain Crimson. Okay, so what seems to be what he's trying to do is help you complete your quest.
Right.
So it comes down to pretty much, do we trust you?
The problem I have is that I'm now fully dedicated to Venya. Which means that I shouldn't be letting that happen. Even if, I do want to get my quest on, is that it goes directly against, and I believe my thought is that there would be repercussions for such a decision.
Razzle picks up our Captain Crimson by his tabard and takes him down to the bottom area away from the other clerics and knights, and sits him on horse.
Awesome.
Could be worse. Could be sitting under horse.
And
Am I
he,
feeling... Oh, sorry, you keep going.
and he says to you, he is Razzle, Paladin of Vengeance. He will do as his god instructs.
And who's your god?
That he does not have to say.
Can I have some sort of religious insight on that from my Simarak /
You can.
Venya? So it's a religion roll?
It is a religion roll. Hopefully you roll just as well. Or the extreme opposite.
So, is he rolling against me?
No, I said you get to roll, so either that you roll just as well as you did last time, or the polar opposite would be just as funny.
It's a 19.
It's a 19.
18 plus 1.
Okay, so he is not displaying any accoutrements for a specific god.
And there's no, in the terms that he uses or the wording that he uses that might give me a hint?
Well, if it's Paladin of Vengeance, that probably narrows down the field of likely immortals.
Well, that's what I was thinking, yeah. Okay, so I just say to him, are your gods designed against Simarak or Vanyas?
He says yes. And no.
Okay. I'm gonna...
He says short term versus long term are completely different.
Okay. So I'm gonna say thank you for sharing that with me. I understand now. I'm going to go and sit quietly and think about this so that I do not jeopardize the mission. And I bow to him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will go and grab Dimitri. And I'll sit with Dimitri and go, we have problems.
Well, when you talk about the fact that what you presumably, if you pass on all the information you just received,
I did.
yeah, well, just lock Planen and Bilby's up for the duration of the flight. Put them under constant guard of the Hellenic Knights. I'm assuming they don't do much else on the flight itself.
So Dimitri gets to make a history roll at this stage.
Sorry?
Dimitri gets to make a history roll.
Dimitri is?
Yeah, Dimitri does, yes.
16, 26.
Dimitri realizes that the Haldanic Knights are enemies of the Dragon Kingdom.
Okay.
They have technically declared war on all dragonkind.
Cool. Yeah.
And it's an ongoing war that's been there for many generations.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay. Well, yeah. Dimitri mentioned the fact. Well, yeah, it's hardly surprising that Razzle has it in for the Haldanics. As he mentioned on our trip across the Ethegarian Plains, he said he hadn't been able to choose the method of transportation, which is what was available. So, but again, potentially, like certainly my plan was that we could use these Haldanic Knights during the offence on the Alphatian army, Armada, and if they all happen to die while we're over there, perhaps everyone's preferences could be fulfilled, barring the Haldanic Knights. So,
okay, I see what you're saying. All right.
I feel that it is certainly counterproductive to be killing off the crew before we're even a quarter of the way across to the Alphatian Empire. Of course, apparently we don't need to find a way home again, which means that we can't afford to have all the Haldanic Knights killed.
Yeah.
Because we'll just end up back at the Ethigar Plains if the quest succeeds.
Or if it fails.
Sorry?
Or if it fails.
Or failed, obviously, yes, but hey, Dimitri's an optimist. But yeah, so I would suggest that we can lock up the if Plowman and or Little Miss are under influences that are not entirely their control. I don't necessarily think that Plowman's not under his own control, because hey, as I said, I'm sure he'd kill the Helldowns at the drop of a hat if he had the opportunity to. And if someone gives an excuse, that's it, or even more of an excuse, that's just a bonus.
Especially if he's given an excuse that makes them suffer.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, as I say, potentially we can convince Razzle that the Haldanic Knights can still be useful in the battle against the Alphatians. And hey, if he really wants to make them suffer, rather than have them die during the assault, we can let them get captured during the assault. Left at the hands of the Alphatian Empire after we've just destroyed their Armada. I'm sure they'll be happy.
That's not the worst idea, actually. Alright, I think I need to let it stew for a bit before I go back to Razzle. Just because we had a big chat and he got a bit cranky at me, I think. Or as close to cranky as he gets. So I would like to go back to the chapel and work on my praying, but at the same time just keep a close eye on everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So Bradshaw's waiting out on the deck, waiting for somebody to come back and help him look at Bruce. Gives up waiting for you, and he's gonna go talk to Plowman. And if Plowman's around, and ask Plowman, did you throw Bruce off the side?
He looks at Bradshaw and flexes his arm and says, "You should know I mean not throw stupid goat offside."
Okay, that's good. Just checking.
Have you checked all rooms?
Okay.
The flexion of the arm is interesting on the idea that he'd actually previously demonstrated that he can carry Bruce quite happily and run with him all the way.
No, just the way he said it, responses is good enough that he knows that he doesn't hate Bruce. So it's just more that if you said anything that was out of the ordinary, then I'll be more worried. So I'll go keep walking around the whole ship looking for Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce, where are you, Bruce? I got Apple. So, so.
Dimitri's final comment towards Captain Crimson when he goes off to think about what he might say would be the fact that, in the meantime, you might want to encourage the Hellbounds to not be alone. Stay in groups of at least 2 or 3.
I might actually do that if that's alright.
Sure.
Martin, I'll just go around to and just ask them to stick together for now until we figure out exactly what's happening. And yeah.
But then, so Dimitri is actually, he was going to go for the look around the ship to A, explore, B, see if you can find the evidence of the missing knight, although apparently we've already heard that he's probably not going to be found, but we might find evidence of where it happened. And also, hey, if he comes across Bruce, that'll be something. I won't say bonus.
Okay, so give me a perception investigation roll. We'll make it perception for Bradshaw as Bradshaw tries to find Bruce.
You know, I'm going to put my character sheet together. The hardest one to find is perception for some stupid reason. But, okay.
It should just be your list of skills. It's just the natural skill.
Yeah. Mark's only one.
Or you might get look at your passive perception and just subtract it.
Yeah, that's what I just did. It's 17, Martin.
17. Okay, you believe you've looked everywhere you're allowed to go on this ship and you can't find him anywhere.
I'm straight up suspicious of horse, okay, because Bruce hated horse and I don't trust that horse. It's a very suspicious horse, and I'm just going to, within distance, just keep an eye out for horse and see if I can just tempt the best way a plate warrior or a warrior with lots of armour does, kind of watch it from afar and just go, occasional glance and go,
Well, when you glance in his direction, it seems to be poking a tongue out at you.
Does Bradshaw think that Razzle's got control of the horse?
Bradshaw's pretty certain that a horse is not a horse, but he's not sure. And considering Bruce is scared of horse, Bruce is not scared of a lot of things. So it's not. It's yeah.
I'm just talking about the fact that Bradshaw's aware that Bruce is one of the questers that we require to complete their quest. Otherwise, we're all stuck in a time loop forever, at best. And that Draggle's also aware of this. And so, as I said, unless someone had worked out that Bruce's quest was to become Stew,
well,
it's not in anyone's interest to let him die.
Well, it's not this loop, so if he dies before our good Captain Crimson, then he'll just return back to the start of the time loop.
Oh, so you're saying that in everything but his quest, we could actually have lovely goat stew every time for a starting eel.
That is true.
I assume you don't say this in front of
me. No, that was
I'm very good at taking out magic users, as Martin knows. So, but anyway, I'll keep going, and I'm just going, I'm looking over everyone, giving them a look over, going, what have they done with Bruce? Bruce has got to be here. I saw him get on the boat. And I keep and it's just stewing in his head for a while, so yeah.
While you're enjoying a nice stew?
Yep. I knew too much that you'd say that. Anyway, off you go, Martin.
Okay, so yes, you managed to go through a couple more nights, and then about a week later, they report that after the security has, calmed down a bit after you telling everyone they needed to travel in pairs or threes, that another knight has gone missing.
So, has the nature been able to get the opportunity to sit down occasionally with Draxel and talk about stuff?
Yes. Give me a insight roll.
In the sense that he's quite happy to be talking about and read any of his own publications or things like that. Insight of 20.
Okay.
Base water.
You think Razzle's hatred of the Haldanic Knights is stronger than Flamon's?
Okay. But well, certainly, as part of those discussions, Dimitri will suggest the idea of the, I talk about the fact that, hey, we've got to try and destroy this armada of ships. A few extra hands will be helpful, particularly if we can leave them behind as scapegoats.
Though you do find out from Razzle that none of them can be left alive before the quest ends.
None of the Hellbent, from his perspective.
To succeed.
Okay. They can all die during the event. I'm just thinking, apparently it's a big armada we've got to try and take out. There's only 8 of us.
Razzle has a plan. No, it's not necessary to plan at end, but help lead up to the plan. Dropping clues along the way.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Certainly Dimitri has got any particular concerns or otherwise. Okay. To me, to him, the Hellbands are purely a means to an end that we're going to make the job easier. If it's going to affect other people, hey, he's not going to fight hard to fight it. And so, particularly also when he's recognising someone that, whilst obviously not as intelligent as Dimitri, certainly has some experience and knowledge about events, and particularly with his understanding of the idea of, hang on, the information about when he cast the ritual the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Is there an indication exactly when that happened, like in our timeline?
It is. It happened, I think, about 3 years beforehand.
Yep. Okay. And during discussions with Draxel, or as I should say, Dimitri will be aiming to find out more about him and what he's done and where he came from and all that sort of stuff. And obviously, there haven't been many Dragonborn around for a long time, and all that, where the hatred of the Helldands come from and things like that, with the intent that potentially finding out that, well, Razzle's only actually been only a dozen years old or something, I think, from memory, in our timeline.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously has experienced the world that we've gone through in the last few years many times over. So therefore he'd be interested in getting Razzle's insights into what's going on in the world, all that sort of stuff.
Well, he experienced 1 month over 1,000 times.
Yep.
So he didn't experience the whole timeline multiple times. He experienced 1 month about 1,000 times.
Okay, so he had a shortened version of the ritual. So, or maybe he stuffed up after a month of retirement to restart.
He died in each of those.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Is Dimitri going to share with the rest of the party about the fact that he's done the ritual before? He's done the ritual before, and that they all have to die beforehand because he's leaving a trail. Are you specifically going to share that trail bit to me?
Well, he certainly wouldn't have said anything about the fact that Draxel had done the ritual before, because hey, that was just interesting knowledge that's totally irrelevant for what the party needs to know.
So Dimitri.
As far as the information about the Helldands, basically, yeah, if Captain Crimson hasn't had the opportunity or discussed it with Draxel prior to Dimitri getting the opportunity to say, hey, look, these Helldands, they could be useful cannon fodder, but that Draxel's suggesting there are other reasons why they've got to go.
Yeah.
Dimitri,
specifically that he's leaving a trail.
Dimitri probably passed on the fact that the there is purposes within the ritual that the Helldands should not reach Alphatian.
Okay. So you're not going to say the fact that he's leaving a trail?
No, that's not important.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so about 1 week in, when you're been crossing some water, you get Captain Crimson is woken up to be told that there are 2 more of the knights have gone missing overnight.
How many did they start with again, sorry?
12.
Oh, okay.
They're down to 9.
Well, that's right. 3 per week. It's about the right sort of ratio.
I would like to suggest that they all kind of come and meet me in the chapel.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to sit down, and I would like to pray to Venya and ask them all to pray with me.
Okay.
Well, hopefully not the 3 that are currently praying to hold the ship up.
Well, they're technically praying to Venya already. So I feel like that's just an added bonus.
Quick question before you get extra on that. During that first week, did Bruce show up at all?
That would be a perception roll.
For me as well.
Anyone who's looking.
Okay, Demetrius.
I would like to look at some stage.
5 for total of 15. I got a 17.
Neither of you
I
find
also got 17.
neither of you find your missing steed.
How many weeks do we fly on this? Is it just one roll per week?
About a month. We've got about a month.
Okay. Well, Martin, let me know when I roll again. Yeah, because I'm still eyeing every individual of the party off because this is a bit suspicious.
Okay.
So yeah, I get everyone to sit in there, including the knights.
Mm.
It's going to be a squish, but I think...
Oh no, it's plenty of room. You can actually fit the entire party in there as well, because the chapel is the most important part of the ship.
At the moment, I actually just want it to be the clerics and the knights.
Mm.
And I'd like to drop to my knees and pray to Venya for help in figuring this out.
Okay.
I'll be back in a second.
As you're praying, you notice that 8 of the 9 knights show up.
Oh, for Christ's sake. Where's number 9?
And give me a perception roll.
20. It's not a natural 20. It's
With a 20, it's good enough. You see a flash of a tabard through the side window of the chapel as it fades into the distance behind you.
Okay. I'm so struggling here because I don't know whether I should try and stop this or not. I feel like I have to. Alright, I would like to go and talk to Plowman and say, you need to stop right now. I will not accept any more. You need to stop right now.
Plowman's sitting on deck enjoying the sun, natural sunlight.
Is he near where the person flipped off?
Doesn't appear to be.
Is Razzle?
Razzle's up on deck as well, as is Little Miss. As is Dimitri.
I know what's going on, but I'm not going to say anything. Oh, hang on. I would have been watching a certain person the whole time, Martin.
So that means Rachel's up there as well.
Oh, no. The horse I'm talking about.
Oh, you're down. No, the horse wasn't upstairs.
I'm following the horse. Did I see anything?
The horse is downstairs. No, you didn't see anything.
Okay, cool. That's what I was asked.
Okay. I tell all the knights and the clerics they have to stay in that room.
Okay.
For the moment. And I'm not saying like for days, but I mean right now, what's happening right now, they need to stay in there. And I step outside and I close the door, because you said there's doors, wasn't there?
Yep.
And I think I have some pittons, like the metal things.
You pitting them in?
And I literally nail the door to the floor.
Okay. You successfully do that.
Okay. And then I sit down, and I sit in front of the door.
I'm assuming you carefully timed your tapping with the
I hammered the big-ass chunk of metal into the big-ass chunk of wood.
Right where the X is?
Rumbling and yelling.
X marks the spot?
Yep. And I pull out my swords. I don't, wield them, but I pull them out and sit them across my knees, and I sit. And I wait to see what happens.
Okay, so after you wait for a while, so Clovis shows up.
Oh.
Hi.
Hello. Am I here for a particular reason? Or?
Well, all the food is served from this level as well.
Ah, okay.
It's always kept close to the chapel because that's where the important people are.
Yeah. You can go past to the food if you like, but you're not going in here.
Okay, should I get them food to eat as well?
Nope, they're fine.
Okay. Sure they are. Do you want some food?
Nope, I'm fine.
Alright. Well, I guess I go get some food.
Thank you. And when he walks up, am I noticing that he's still acting like him?
Give me a insight roll with disadvantage. You currently have paranoia.
Actually, that would be either a 16 or a 17.
Okay, so you think it's acting like him, but he is from the same family as the Black Eagle Barony. So, to be honest, how much can you really trust him?
That's fair.
The Black Eagle Barony
I
is also related to the
walk
king,
up and I
the
like
Duke
to
of the
And
nation.
Dimitri's always told you that obviously he can't be trusted because he's a Fayette and Corindon.
Oh, yeah, cool.
So, the fact that you're related to nobility, the good and the bad.
And he rides the griffin, doesn't he?
He does ride a griffin, yes, and his griffin has been on deck most of the time.
It is well known that halflings in particular have an issue with griffins because they tend to grab smaller creatures for food. So as such, I don't like anyone who runs through. Yeah.
That's okay. I'm sure he's got his dead set morals for many reasons.
So were you saying that some of the members of the party are talking weird like this Razzle guy?
Some of them were talking weird like that Russell guy, yes.
And
So-
they maintain that
so
pattern
Clovis-
over the weeks.
Not over the weeks, just answering certain questions.
Sir Clovis finds it a bit too morally objectionable to just let people get murdered. So he's going to try and talk some... 'cause did you share that knowledge that Razzle was getting people killed?
Yes.
Yeah, so Sir Clovis is going to try and talk some sense into Razzle.
Okay.
Like, sit him down and, put a hand on his shoulder and try to, talk him out of it.
Okay.
And while you're doing
So-
that, do you know what I'm doing?
What?
Sitting in front of the door.
Yep. Fair enough. So, this Dragonborn is about 7.5 feet tall.
Okay.
Extremely well built, muscly. You've not met many Dragonborn before.
Okay, should I roll something?
So, what would you like to do to convince him?
Just roll a persuasion, I think.
Okay.
Let's see how I go. I got a 21.
You got a 21? Natural 20?
No, natural 21. Sorry.
Okay, so you try to persuade him that the killing people is objectionable. Where he counters your argument with you go in to dungeons and kill people all the time.
Well, they're not people, they're monsters.
He says, so are the Helldatic Knights, and he starts describing the atrocities the Helldatic Knights do on a regular basis, including
Yes, but
the murder of women and children,
so Clovis
as well
says,
as
but
babies.
We're here trying to, save the world. We're on a world-saving quest. Couldn't you hold off on the killing? Surely your deity wouldn't mind, you not killing these people if it's for the good of saving the world. And
But what if
the
their death
glory
is
that
helping
brings.
save the world?
Ah, you're that far in.
So if and he starts describing leaving a trail of evidence from people who cannot provide any rebuttal because they're dead and no longer have a jaw, and how they can then provide evidence that it was the Haldenic Knights who planned and executed said attack.
So Clovis says, I can see why it took you 1,000 months to complete your quest. Now I can see why.
He learned to be more direct.
You don't know anything about that.
Oh, okay. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
He has been through this before. He has learned to be more direct, he says.
Righto. Well, Sir Clovis will give up after a while, and
He says, yes, you help with the next one. That way you'll be more draconian.
okay.
So it's
So
a
it's
good thing
tricky,
Dimitri
'cause
wasn't.
the situation's really tricky, right? Because we're trying to work with him, but he's bloodthirsty against the people who are helping us, like, in a big way. Pretty tricky to know what to do.
It says, the enemies of your enemy are good cattle.
Oh. So Clovis refuses to help kill, and then he'll go guard the door with what's his name?
Captain Crimson.
Captain Crimson.
Apparently, you've had a ally convinced to assist you.
I must say, it's a good thing you didn't have Dimitri nearby when you were talking to Razzle just then, because, hey, as far as he was concerned, you're talking about the idea of, hey, killing innocents and things like that. So what about all the Chaldarans that they hadn't slaughtered?
Yeah, but that's different. It's really different.
Bradshaw would like to go up to Dimitri at one stage and
Yep. You find him on deck.
go, do you have any sort of spell that finds missing goats?
You still haven't seen Bruce?
Yeah.
I did think the smelled a bit cleaner.
Yeah, well, if we, based on what we discussed, quite originally in our journey, that we really need to have that goat around in some way. So,
Well, we need him around for each quest.
yes. So I'd like to know where the hell my goat is on this ship, because I've looked everywhere. And while the only option I have is something to do with that horse that potentially is not a horse but could be something else, I'd like to make sure, can you locate a goat? Look, I don't believe in magic a lot. I think magic is shit. But I said, I'm running out of ideas, okay?
Dimitri holds out an apple. An illusionary one, but it looks good.
No, I've tried that. I've been around the whole ship with apples out. It doesn't work.
Nothing happens.
As in, like, the spell doesn't go off, you mean?
Oh, the spell goes off. Nothing comes to try to fetch it.
and I go, see, and I pull my apple pouch that Martin knows I have. I pull out apple seed. I'll put an apple out. Nothing happens. You can roll again, Martin, if you want.
Well, have you left the apples around?
Well, I thought holding the apple, walking around the ship, eventually my hand will be bitten off by something. So, but no, I haven't seen. No, it's like.
Maybe if you go around leaving some apples around the ship, then you can go and find out where he's been.
Good point. And I'll go off and do that. I know where this is going, Martin. I know 100% where it's going. I'm just going to do it, okay?
Okay, so you start leaving apples around as you go. Give me a perception roll.
Okay, here we go. I'm getting 17 of bloody again.
Okay, you turn around to the sound of the apple being bitten, and you see a little miss who's chewing into the apple you left behind.
Okay. I'll keep putting apples around.
Yeah, she can't eat that many.
That's right. That's what I'm thinking. I only know one person that eats that many apples, and it's a goat. So eventually everyone's going to be full of apples, so I'll eventually keep going around. So. Oh, for people that don't know, I've got a kind of a pouch of endless apples. that keeps refilling. I can pull that apple out all the time. So, just a little magical item. So,
Is it like one of those Tim Tam packets?
Yeah, one of those Tim Tam packets that never runs out of Tim Tams.
It's the healthy version, or the somewhat healthier version.
yeah, this is after me giving the goat too many stupid things in the past, so I'm trying to be healthy with the goat.
He went for a healthier option.
I think Tim Tams is a bit too much, Unless Tim Tams, that's not going to be good for a goat, no.
You never know, it might actually give it a better propulsion. It might have a faster top speed.
Yeah, but also have when it comes down to speed, it'll slow down to a wiggly kind of thing where it doesn't want to move and I have to drag it. So.
Doesn't it do that already?
Yeah, but that's unsustainable. That's not due to kind of health issues. So.
Okay. So, as you head around with your apples, give me another perception check.
Okay, I'm chucking this dice out and getting the other one. So.
Hey, you shouldn't be complaining about 17s.
22, Martin, this time.
22. So, finally, after having a look around on one of the knight's decks that you haven't been allowed to go on, you see the glimpse of a ram's horn.
You can get up to the knight's deck now because they're all locked away.
Yep, I rush up there.
The door's locked.
I break the door open. This is my mount here.
Okay. Give me a athletics roll to see if you can break the door open.
I injured my shoulder with a 1.
Okay, apparently you bounce and bounce into Dimitri.
I was going to say that, whilst I was a bit flippant about the idea of the illusionary apple as part of his search, it would be then spending time thinking, it's been a while since the booth has been seen, so...
Oh, I'll go run at the door again.
Okay.
Sorry, Dimitri. I say sorry, Dimitri, I'll go do it.
You did happen to win Dimitri by hitting him in the stomach with your dwarven mass.
I fly back again and hit him in the head with 1 again.
Okay, so while he's recovering, you knock Dimitri down flat as you land on top of him.
Give me a right in 5 minutes, and I'll try again.
Yeah, you are sort of seeing double at the moment, so you have disadvantage on this athletics check.
That's fine. Oh, that's better than my first 2 rolls. That's a 12, actually.
Okay, you hit the door doesn't move, and you just slide down the door.
Bruce, get out of there, I yell.
Dimitri will sit up and go, why don't you just use the handle?
Hang on. I'll try the handle.
Handle's locked as well, and you get a shock from it.
Okay. No, it's not one of those ones where I don't... Yeah. I'd say it'd be a shocking grasp or something like that kind of hit.
While he's turned around and facing me,
Yep.
I'm going to use my invisible mage hand to do pick locks on the door.
Okay.
It's part of my new skills is having taken up the arcane trickster 3rd level rogue side of the house.
That does help.
Total of 25.
Okay, the door creaks open behind him. Creak, creak.
I know that door gave in eventually. And I look around.
Inside,
use the handle.
inside you can see all the crossbows and other weapons of the knights stored in here.
Do I see Bruce?
This is their armory, and there is a ladder going up to a closed hatch. So you saw your goat on top of this building in the center of the deck.
I go up.
Okay, climbing to the top, well protected by the sides, is your goat happily chewing on a bag of apples.
Bruce, why are you up here?
He just flicks a tail and an ear in your direction.
I've been looking for you for weeks. You've been up here the whole time.
He just rolls his eyes.
I want to answer here.
Dimitri, having followed up the ladder after him, is in response to the question, or looking at the question of you've been up here the whole time, was, look around and say, well, is there evidence you've been up here for long?
Yep.
I.e., truly good at the fruit lying about?
There is probably about a day's worth, but lots of marks of where it's been scooped up by things.
Right.
Probably going to get a build up now that there's no one manning the spot as they've been taken away from here, as the lookout has also been taken from their position.
Okay, I will, it's going to kill, it's going to hurt. I'm going to try to take the bag apples away from Bruce.
Yeah.
This is not a good idea, but I'm going to try it.
Okay.
Make it. And say,
Bruce stands on your hand. Puts his full weight on your hand.
can I, you know how turtles flip up upside down?
Yeah.
Can I flip up a goat upside down?
You can try.
Okay. A strength check?
Strength. That would be a post strength check, yes. Versus his strength.
Hang on, because I've got advantage of strength checks. Just a double check. No, that's for you, okay. No. What am I going to do? No, okay, strength check. Sorry, mate.
All good.
Okay, 27.
27. Okay, you flip him off the top of the area where you are, and he slides down to the deck below with a plop.
Now, when I talk to you, you listen. When I go downstairs,
And then the door appears to be locked. It doesn't open.
Slid down. Oh, so we're on the tower, so he slid down right down the tower.
Yep, and sat in front of the door.
Dimitri will be taking the opportunity to keep going up the tower potentially and having a look at the lookout and things like that. If it's obviously an area where he hasn't been had a chance to.
Well, this area has a catapult, and behind you is 2 ballistas and another tower. And on top of that tower is the disintegration cannon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dimitri's going to take the opportunity to take a wander through that area as well. And
oh, you can't reach the other area until you go through other stairs, and most of that area has been blocked off from access.
Okay, now this drop down to below.
Mm-hmm.
How far is it?
About 10 feet.
Okay. If I can't get out my door, there's only one option to go.
You climb back
I
up
don't
and
like
slide
this.
off the top.
I don't like this on a moving boat, but
well, it doesn't feel like you're moving.
I know, but I'm still worried about getting fall off the boat. Now, dwarves are scared of heights, so I'm going to just try to slide myself down the same way my goat did, maybe.
But have someone flip you over the edge, so you're rolling over the top.
I just want to slide down myself, not actually get, a hand, because I don't think Dimitri will be able to lift Bradshaw. So.
Okay, so I'm going to make it an acrobatics roll.
Yeah, I knew you would. It's okay. I am trained in acrobatics for some stupid reason. So, with a whole 10 with a +6.
Okay, you land on your ankle with a crunch.
That's okay.
As Bruce has moved, so he didn't land on top of Bruce.
Yeah.
Which would have been a softer landing.
I know. So, out. I go, I must have took those clerics later. But now, don't go hiding again.
He just makes strange noises in your direction and looks the other way.
I bring the bag of apples out and say, you want your apples back?
He shows his teeth and grabs the apples.
That's good. Just don't go hiding again, please. I'll let you know where you are. So, anyway, I hobble myself over to Captain Crism saying, hey, I might need a hand here from one of the clerics. No one in the party's got a healing spell except for
I think I've got a healing potion. Would that help?
No. So healing potions. Oh no, healing spells don't work on me either because I'm a dwarf.
Yep.
So I'm gonna do this naturally, man. So
Yeah, I'm not going to let I'm not opening this door right now until we figure out what's going on.
that's all right. I'm gonna be sitting in front of the door next to you since I can't do much else but hobble over. So
Awesome.
Is Bruce with you?
I've given Bruce the bag or something. It's like now at least I know he's alive. That's the main thing. That's okay. It's Bruce. Just like as long as he's alive and he's moving and he grunts at me, I'm okay. So I'd still like to know who put him in there, but I've got to work on that one. So over to you, Martin.
Okay. So yes, how long you say sitting in front of the door, Captain Crimson? So that's you, Emerist. How long do you stay sitting in front of the door?
I just talked for ages and didn't realise I was still muted, so sorry.
It was all fascinating stuff.
Oh yeah, no, it's done. So that's what I'm doing, man. I want to sit there for a good hour or so.
Yep.
Just to see if anyone tries to come this way. And now that I've got people with me, I'd like to kind of close my eyes and throw a question out there to Venya if she's going to respond. I don't know if she is, but can I let this happen for the good of the quest?
Sure. Give me a religion roll.
Oh, 20, so 19 plus 1.
Okay. So what's your question?
I need to know that letting the acolytes, the clerics, and the things die may be required for us to save the world and to win that battle for her, the one that I'm going to go fight, the burning of the shipyards. But because I am an acolyte of hers, I want to know whether or not I can let that happen. Is that an acceptable cost to her?
You get a rather vague feeling that a deal has been struck.
Okay. All right. Well, in that case, I want to turn to Clovis.
And now you're going to convince him that murder hobo's not so bad?
No, not that.
I'm amused at the fact that you're quite happy to accept that a deal has been struck implies a deal that's different from the one that you struck.
I'm a simple man of faith. Whether or not that faith is in the right thing doesn't bother me. So, I turn to Clovis and I say, I've just heard from Venya. And Venya has made a deal that this is going to happen. So, as much as this is hurting me and you know it's hurting me, I think we need to let this happen.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe we need to get this Razzle character on our side if we're going to possibly be saving with the world with him over a long period of time.
Which means that we need to let these people die. And it hurts me, and I know it's hurting you. So I'm essentially asking for permission from the party, and you're the first person to be served your job.
You're the voice of reason at the moment.
Oh no.
Yeah, because Dimitri would be like, "Well, I don't know them." Like, to make the extent.
Dimitri is the absolute voice of reason, completely dispassionate about the situation. Wouldn't let emotions get involved.
Killing the flight crew of a airship that we're on.
Well, they've been currently killing the security of the flight crew.
Yeah, security of the flight crew, and he has asked me to learn how to fly the ship.
So it's being done very sensibly then. That makes it all okay.
Yeah, I think because we haven't been told he's done it over and over again, have we?
No. Yeah, you haven't been told that he's done the ritual before.
Yeah. So he seems to know what's going to happen next. So I feel like he's not just doing this because he's pissed at them. Like, I absolutely think there's some, racial issues.
You don't
that need
think
to be
it's just
resolved,
a hate crime?
Some, Martin Luther King style announcements, discussions, sorted out bus rides, shared, voting, all this kind of stuff. I feel like there's things that are in the future for these two parties. But right now, I don't think we're going to be able to fix it.
And plus, you have a hard time convincing Plowman not to kill everyone.
I have a hard enough time convincing him not to kill me. So, and honestly, most of the time it's just because he's got a bad back from swinging the axe and stuff all the time, and I'm very low. So he just doesn't want to, put his back out. That's the only reason I'm alive. So, I'm going to undo this door, and I'm going to
This is such a sketchy decision.
It is such a sketchy decision, but I've also been told by the god that I represent
That did not sound like she was on your side. That sounded like
mysterious. She's not on my side. I requested something, she gave it to me at a cost.
Okay.
But when I asked her about it,
what?
when I asked her about it, she said that a deal has been made. She was very relaxed about the concept that I was saying, can I let your people die? So
she is a war god, and dying in the cause of war is the noblest thing they can do.
Absolutely, and she's wanting us to go to the battle. I think we
Being
need to...
backstabbed and thrown off an airship, very honourable.
Yeah.
Depends if they're the catalyst that helped start the war.
Okay.
But, Clovis, this is what I think. The second that one of our party gets attacked, we kill the bastard.
Well, but that won't work. We've got to get him on our side somehow because he's there
I
in the
realise
prophecies.
that, but there's got to be a line.
So we're just going to have
And
to
I think-
time loop, keep killing him.
Well, no. I think that Crimson's talking about the idea of that presumably the Hellenic might actually retaliate at some point after having been picked off one by one or two by
Correct.
two. They might actually think, hang on, people are missing. Hey, we've got new people on this ship. It might be them.
So as long as our party is not attacked by either Razzle or the Knight, I believe this is
What about
something that
Bruce?
you would...
But
No, Bruce is his own thing.
Oh, so we can get attacked by Bruce and that doesn't matter.
Oh, look, I'm hoping that Bruce eats Plowman. Right now, So I stand up, I pull the pittons out, I open the door, and I say, okay, guys, I think everything's okay.
And they immediately kill Captain Crimson for locking up.
I told them I was protecting them.
And
I
so
also say, hey, could one of you clerics fix my friend's ankle?
So as you open the door, you hear them finish the sentence saying, and that's how we kill the Ethangarian.
Can you just search for him?
I hear that. And so the door's just opened a crack. So can canonically, can we say I'm the only one to hear that?
No, because you have someone sitting next to you at the time.
Okay. But they're facing the other way.
Potentially, they could still hear it quite loudly as they're discussing it
But
loudly.
when I hear them say that, I just kind of make eye contact with many as possible and just nod. And then I open the doors. And I ask if someone can heal my friend. And I go off and find somewhere to sit down and drink, because I'm sure I have some booze on me still.
You do have
That's
some
me.
booze on you.
Rachel goes, "Oh, what did you say?" I was actually off the line. I didn't hear anything.
Okay. So
So the cleric should come out and heal your foot, I think.
Well, that thing does hurt because I'm resistant to healing. So I'm not sure how that'll go. Mark knows I've got a bit of resistance.
they're quite happy to help you amputate and put on a peg.
Oh no! If they do that, I'm holding the weight. I'm just doing. No, I'll be fine. Do it naturally.
Also, they're used to healing like real-sized people. So even though you're resistance, you're smaller, so it's like double the power.
And most of the clerics do know that healing doesn't quite work on dwarves.
Yeah, because I've got the Heart of Stone. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
take advantage against necrotic and radiant effects and resistance to that, and also magical healing. So
See, I was actually saying that to Bradshaw.
yeah, Bradshaw just goes. Bradshaw goes. I see what they do to gnomes. I don't want to know about it. Martin knows where I'm going with that. I had a gnome who had lost his arms and legs in a bomb, I think, was it?
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, I saw what they did to the gnome, and the gnome ended up dying, I believe, from memory.
So the two things are, number one, I think it's amusing because I'm pretty sure you're taller than me.
Well,
But number two,
dwarves are actually medium size.
yeah, what is it with you and losing your arms and legs?
No. I had this gnome.
Isn't that your stick?
No, I lost his arms and legs.
No. I explained the whole. I gave the story about what do we call that gnome? I can't remember now. We gave it a nickname. Stumpy. That's Stumpy. Stumpy. That's right. Yep. So okay.
Wasn't his actual name, but that's what you called him.
Yeah, I called him Stumpy. But so I explained what happened when I first went to under the underworld kind of thing, and I go, "This is what happened."
Where they ignored the quest that they're supposed to do.
Yeah, because I had a interesting group back then, and pretty interesting. Like Dimitri's actually good compared to some of those people. So it was like, okay, then I
Dimitri's good compared to anybody.
So then I came across some dark elves as well, but I had the gnome actually in my backpack because that's the only place I could hang on to him, and he had no arms and legs. And we bandaged him up a little bit. Then we got him on the ship, and then he got all these extensions to his limbs, and all of a sudden I think he flew off the ship at one stage. I think he got kicked off the ship. So don't know what happened exactly, but I don't trust these guys. Sorry. So I'm just coming down to the point.
And Captain Crimson, the most important point against those first, did you keep the arms and legs? I could use it.
No, I wanted to keep the hand, remember?
No, but I'm talking about the fact that obviously this Stumpy had some prosthetics like you do.
Ah, yeah, no, I made mine better. Just
yeah.
the thing, Martin, you know how I'm like away and kind of calming myself down?
Yep.
I'm assuming at some stage another one's going to go over the side, right?
Quite possibly, yes.
Yeah. So I want to be sitting there quietly singing, "What shall we do with the drunk?"
Such a ridiculous situation.
When I hear someone go, "Rah!" I'm just going to go, "What shall we do with the drunk?" Just sing louder. I don't want to hear it.
Well, they haven't been making any noises when they've gone over.
I feel like now that I know it's coming, I'll hear the...
Well, you think you know why? Where if that is if Sir Clovis told you that Drazzle's been removing their jaw before throwing them overboard.
I don't think I knew that, did I?
He mentioned that to you.
Oh, he did.
Well, Drazzle told you, but whether you paid attention to the question.
Oh.
So they can't talk about what they experienced even after death.
I mean, certainly because Sir Clovis hasn't got much experience with using spells like Speak with Dead, he wouldn't necessarily have understood the context of the statement, and therefore probably just assumed there was something lost in translation.
That sounds like some religious thing.
It is a very religious thing.
Yeah, so I kind of try to ignore that kind of situation, Martin. So if they want to amputate, I don't want to go anywhere. So
That is fair.
So yeah, so I've seen what they've done to amputees before. It's not a good thing.
Though they do measure you up for a foot before you stomp off.
Well, limp off.
Limp off. Yeah, limp off.
You don't want to stomp too hard.
You may need the prosthetic in the end after all.
Yeah. Grumbling dwarf grumbles.
Just go to Captain Crimson. I'm sure he can fix you up.
I was with Captain Crimson.
He did so good with Dr. Dark.
Can I start, like, constructing... Because I've got spare parts for my league. Can I just start... I don't know how they're going to heal him, so I figure I might start on foot just in case.
Okay, you see that they've given the measurements to Captain Crimson, who's starting to put together a prosthetic for you.
I will throw you off the ship, Captain Crimson. I will throw you off the ship.
Is this for a
Yes,
leg
and
up?
you'll be able to because my foot will lay to lift me.
I was going to say, okay, kick him off the ship.
No, I said throw. Okay, I don't trust anyone, even the goat at the moment, so I'm just going to go myself.
What about Dimitri? Surely you trust Dimitri just as much as before.
Dimitri's actually high up the list at the moment. I don't know why. I know, I'm very surprised about this. It's a very interesting night so far.
Yes, and all the people you usually trust have gotten you worried.
Yes. So, I'm.
Bradshaw's finally seen the light.
So,
Yeah, sure. Okay.
after a 2 weeks of travel, you find yourself over the Isle of Dawn that separates your continent from the continent of Alphatian. It is a sight to behold because the inland of the island is a reputation of no man's land because no one lives there and no one comes back from there.
Yeah. Dimitri's certainly aiming to regain a vantage point where he can be looking around and getting a good view. So, having had the opportunity to explore the ship without any interference from the knights.
Well, there's less knights to interfere with, considering two are always on duty in the chapel.
Yep.
So that leaves 6 knights to take up duties around the ship, where one is supposed to be on watch out the front.
Martin,
Yep.
I'm doing a lot of like leaning over the edge, kind of feeling sad and sorry for myself.
Yep.
Do I notice anything?
Don't do it!
behind
Don't
us?
jump! Don't! Oh, hang on.
But, like, just if I'm watching for a while, am I noticing like anything in the distance behind us, whether it's like at ground level, behind, above? I'm just wondering if we're being shadowed or chased by something.
We're being chased by ourselves. We just don't know it yet because we haven't done the loop more than once.
Give me a perception roll as you try to notice something following you.
Perception. And so that's 20. So
20.
16 plus 4.
You do see that there is a lot of there's cities below. You're flying at quite high above the clouds, and specks of boats on the water.
But nothing like going in our direction or like trying to hide from us but stay close or anything.
But nothing that seems to be close to you.
How fast does the ship really travel?
The ship, when you were comparing it to the ground, was moving at about 360 feet a move.
Which is considerably faster than most ships, even most flying ships that we've been in before, isn't it?
Considering you can actually do a double move each round.
Yep.
Which means you can outdistance just about any vehicle you know of.
Yep.
It's not something natural or most magical flight provides.
Yeah, no, okay, look, I mean, well, Dimitri certainly picked it up from the start with the fact that, hey, it was a 1 month flight. Assuming you could fly, it was going to be about a 6 month journey if it didn't go their way, so. But yeah, okay, it's just doing those calculations to think, oh, yeah, how fast are we going? And where do I pick myself up one of these?
Well, all you need is what you've been able to figure out so far is the gem that is the heart of the ship.
Yep. And let's face it, I'm sure Yam's gem would probably do the same thing if I tried and made it work.
Especially if he had the rest of the gem.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Then I wouldn't need a ship.
You don't think you would? Okay, so yes, at about the 2 week mark, you start passing over the Isle of Dawn, and in the 3rd week, you're on the gap between the two. So to give you a perspective, I will show you on the map where you're traveling.
Yeah, during the trip, obviously, and depending like when people are at times when they're less concerned about falling crewmen or things like that, Dimitri will certainly be cross-examining Captain Crimson to get as much detailed information about his vision on exactly how many ships we were talking about, the other sites of the port, other sites of the city, all that sort of stuff. And then
I'm happy to work with you on that.
Also talking to the Helldans and Drazel to get if they've got any idea of if they've ever been to Alphatian and therefore have any knowledge or intelligence about what we're getting into.
They're not welcome normally in Alphatian, so they're looking at activating one of their special effects of their ship to give them some protection.
Cool. Okay. Dimitri will be keen to watch the activation process and see what happens if you've got the opportunity. Does Drazzle have any other information about what we're going into?
Fire, he says.
Hopefully
big
fires we've started.
He shrugs. He says it doesn't matter.
We talk about other fires.
As long as there's fire, there's hope.
Do we know how big the Armada is?
From the vision, there appears to be more than 10,000 ships.
Man, as I said to Drazzle, an extra half a dozen hands might be handy.
Though in the vision, they are sitting next to each other on the ground.
Oh yeah, no, that's right. Recognize them all together.
With work crews all connecting everything together. And you did hear at one stage from Redran that when you guys were in Hollow World, all their ships had been recalled to the capital and had crashed around the capital.
Yep.
So you'd be expecting that they would be all undergoing repairs and probably getting close to having their repairs finished.
Yep.
And it would be the entire Alphatian Armada, which has never been gathered before.
Yep. But so it makes it a bloody big Pearl Harbor.
Well, considering their vessels can also plane jump, it does mean that there is an awful lot of magic there to go boom with.
Yep. Okay. Cool. Okay. Excellent. Like Dimitri starting his plans and thought processes on exactly. Yep. How we can get them all. So, if there's about 10,000 ships, and they're all located in the same space, is the implication that that space is very, very big, or that they might technically be on top of each other interdimensionally?
Some would be floating in the air above the others, the ones that would be have been finished and providing the security.
Yep.
And the rest would most likely be spread out around on the grounds or in docks. So they could be multi-level docks because it is a advanced magical engineering based civilization.
That's cool. But it still does mean that we're covering a very large area.
It does.
Or volume that's holding these ships. So.
Okay, so getting while you're traveling there, I will give you a perception roll for your character, considering you have been looking at some of Drazzle's books.
12, 22.
Okay, you do notice that the annotations on the book change almost daily.
I'll ask him about the if I'm reading through a book and recognising that, hang on, it's not quite the same as it was yesterday when I was looking at it. I will certainly ask him about the annotations and start trying to interpret and understand his shorthand and things like that. And also, get an understanding of, are these changing because you've rewritten it while I was holding the book in the past? At the time, at a point in the future, you'll rewrite this into the past.
Because it shows what has, what will, and what's supposed to happen.
Yeah. So, well, again, in that case, then Dimitri's going to be as much looking at the books for potential intelligence as to exactly how the attack on the Alphatian goes and things like that. So.
Okay, so while you're looking at it one night, you do notice that there seems to be some sort of gnomish airship described in detail.
As in, describe the mechanics of how it flies, or?
More in the sense of the aesthetic look of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that it is highly combustible.
Mm-hmm.
And that a high velocity impact of some weight would be enough to send it careering down through the many layers of scaffolding below that the Armada is basically built around.
Yep. And yeah, so obviously be taking note of, okay, yep, they might not be using exactly the same design, but it's certainly an indication of potential weak points and things like that. And start looking at the catapults, ballistas, and disintegration ray to see if he's able to work out exactly, particularly the disintegration ray. One it might take more effort to try and work out how to activate it.
Give me an investigation roll.
A week investigation.
Mm-hmm.
12 again for 18.
So you're able to figure out that the catapults and the ballista are manually operated, so anyone with skills with siege weapons can actually use them quite easily.
Mm-hmm.
The disintegration ray can only be done by the clerics.
Yep.
And the mash required to damage the gnomish airship is far more than a catapult or ballista can deliver.
Mm-hmm. So,
Giving you only one thing on the ship that could actually deal that amount of damage.
sorry, as a player, I'm not picking up the. You mean
The ship itself,
or
yeah. The ship itself.
Yeah, happy with that. So, but presumably, well, we're likely to need more than one hit. I'm assuming there's going to be multiple layers of ships that have to be tried and taken out. So even if we put the ship onto one, that might take out a score or more at best compared to the numbers that actually are needed. So,
Well, I will give you an insight roll onto what you've read in the journal.
10, 16.
Okay, you think that Nomi's ship getting hit by the warbird at that time might be a keystone event.
Yep. So, and I'm happy that the we can certainly aim to using that as the event, but Dimitri's trying to come up with backup plans to just in case someone hasn't been shooting wombats down the range using the force appropriately to hit the spot.
Well, you'd probably recommend not being on the warbird at the time.
That's fine. I mean, that's obviously a job for the captain of the ship to do. And it's most appropriate because a kamikaze raid seems most logical. So, and in the meantime, the rest of the party can be off trying to hit other locations in case the captain doesn't manage to hit quite the right spot. So Dimitri will certainly be able to spend, probably at least a few days or a week poring over these older options and bits and pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, as we get closing and people are trying to discuss, hey, how are we actually going to do this? Dimitri might then mention the fact that, I reckon if we hit this one right here, we're just going to charge the ship into this spot. We've got a good chance of doing the vast majority of the effect. And the, as I say, I think a few well-placed fireballs and the like will help to settle the rest of it. So,
and you do notice that
some of the crew from the Helldax.
when you wake up a week before you're due there, each of you has a Haldanic tabard by the bed. So, one of the knights' raiments. As whether Captain Crimson told everyone or not, he had agreed that everyone would strike as if they were Haldanic knights. Did Captain Crimson tell everyone that?
I don't remember that. So in my vision, we were dressed as Haldanic knights.
You weren't, but you had gotten that agreement that you would strike. That's when you got your tabard in the first place.
I am very certain, and would get recordings, I said I would strike in. I did not say we.
If you got to remember, Immortals hear what they want to hear.
I get that.
And plus, if all of you were wearing...
That's the... So, sorry, you go?
Yeah, and if all of you are wearing the tabards of the Haldanic Knights causing the mayhem, then no matter what country of origin you come from, the blame will be pointed at the Haldanic Knights and not at your people.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't know that I'd agreed to that, like as a character.
Mm-hmm.
However, realizing that might be what happened, I explained what Martin just said, but possibly with, a little bit more excitement that we can cause the any reprisal from them to be laid upon these guys and not us.
Give me a persuasion roll to see how persuasive you are at telling them.
From Dimitri's perspective, he says, yeah, it makes sense, happy with that. And if Plarman is actually in the room, like if you're talking this is the whole group at once type stuff, you say, and hey, you've got the if you wear the tabard, yep, it looks bad now, but hey, you can have this entire empire up against the Haldanic Knights. Should be able to wipe them out easily.
So my two responses to that are, number one, I'm not going to try and convince him again. And number two, I rolled a nat 20 with a -1.
Okay, so everyone is roused by your stirring speech about how you're basically going to be setting up the Haldanic Knights for your burning of the fleet.
Obviously, it was Dimitri's support that tipped the line.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I'm very happy to let you think that.
And for once, everyone seems to be on the same page.
I suddenly look for the exits.
Is Trellen...
No. Dimitri's much further ahead in the book.
So how is Trellen feeling about the direction?
Yeah, keep going.
How bad can it get?
Well, I mean, like I say, Dimitri's also working on the idea that, hey, yep, it convinces, or might help convince Plyman to wear the tabard and therefore goes towards the Haldand, or in Pike would go against the Haldand. But on the other side, he's also thinking that if we do our job right, there's no reprisals to be done because they can't get a fleet over. So,
I'm just getting this image that how do you say it? Trellen
Yes.
is just doing that meme where it's like, guess I'll die. Whatevs.
so Trellen shouldn't be thinking that. Captain Crimson should be, but.
Captain Crimson is very confident that everything's going to be A-OK.
Yes, absolutely. For a given definition of okay. If Dimitri's already told him that he's got to die.
I know that I've got a death waiting for me. I'm just glad this one's not permanent.
But just think, you might have to redo this all over again if you don't burn it down properly.
So when you go for your kamikaze run, don't miss. Don't flinch.
Well, his vision has him on the ground, not hitting a hitting the gnomish airship.
Yeah, see?
So, obviously you survived the impact, and you can then finish the job on the ground, taking out any leftovers.
Exactly.
So, yeah, so you're still happy to guide the ship into the,
Well, we're not quite there yet, are we?
Not yet. You're a couple of days out.
Yeah.
But have we still got Helldangs left on the ship?
You do, though. Your Captain Crimson has been hearing about them plotting to toss most of you off overboard themselves because they're sure that the Effengarian is responsible for their missing crewmen.
I can't imagine how they could lead to that conclusion.
I would argue that over the days I've been putting helpful hints in that, he works alone. Because I'm not necessarily interested in saving him. I just don't want him to... I don't want to, hamper us when we need as many people as possible by, losing 5 of the party.
Okay. So as it's getting close to, as you're traveling across Alphatian itself, the major island of the Empire, Drazzle catches up with Captain Crimson again and asks if you've learnt all you need to know.
I don't know. What do I need to know?
Of many unknown unknowns.
Yes. Of which unknown do you speak? How to brush my teeth? How to talk to women? I'm still working on that one. There's a lot of things. So can you be more specific?
He just looks at you and you can hear some sort of strange chuckle coming from him.
Oh my god, I made him laugh. Are you talking about controlling the ship?
He nods, still chuckling.
Yes, I can control the ship. I'm good. I feel very confident with my nat 20 I got way back when.
At which point he says, when time, transfer gem to cart in storage. Following guidelines. And then walks off.
Okay, do I know what that means?
No idea.
Well, I mean, you certainly know of a gem that is pretty important.
Yeah. So now, because we've got a little bit of time, I find a cleric.
Yep.
I find a cleric.
You do find the High Priest again?
Yeah. Hypothetically, nothing to do with this ship, nothing to do with, any time in the future. But I was just curious, can you transfer the gem from this ship to, I don't know, some sort of ambulatory device with wheels?
He just says that would be crazy the moment you remove the gem from touching the ship, gravity pulls the ship down.
Right, so it would be really good if we wanted to stop quickly.
Well, you would no longer be in control of the ship.
But then if you put it onto the said ambulatory device with wheels, could you then control that?
Potentially, it would then float.
Awesome. Okay, so now I go and try and get the party together so I can talk about our plan to use the boat as a napalm bomb. I'm assuming.
So you mean you're not planning on guiding it into the location?
Well, no, because Razzle knows the future. I don't want to go against Razzle, so what will happen is that at some stage, I will have to remove the gem and put it in the cart. So everyone will have to be in the cart, and the cart would have to be on the top level, I assume. And we'd leave the horse behind, because screw that dude. And we could transfer it over and let it drop. I think that makes a lot of sense. Because you said, even a sharp contact, like a hard hit, would cause them to explode, right?
Oh, absolutely. Like I say, it's likely that If this ship lands on the appropriate vessel, it should tip the dominoes to take out, if not all, but very significant portion of the fleet. And then we might have to go around and do mop-up individually. But it will take some fine calculations to determine exactly when to remove the gem, and so that the ship will then fall onto the right spot.
I actually have the correct calculations here. So what happens is, right, Razzle says take it out, and then I do it. That's the calculation.
No, I'm going to silence her. I can't say anymore.
Put your left hand in, you take your left hand out, pull out the gem, then we all give a shout.
Not helping the situation, Emrys, with my comments I had in my mind, so... I'll probably have to get off in about 10 minutes, guys. Just heads up.
good.
So.
I just got it too, you know, my pull-out game's terrible, so, you know, canonically for the character, of course, so...
So here's a picture in the actual game world of what happens when you pull the gem out.
Alright, let me just zoom that in, because that's...
Yeah, it all looks
Oh, the
fine.
boat disappears.
No, it falls.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Completely independent of you.
Actually, you know what we could do? We could let Plowman sit on it. What's that movie with the bomb? Let him go down kicking and waving a hat.
I'm sure it's not Dr. Strangelove whatsoever.
Well, it is Plowman.
So yes, you...
I suspect that the crew might have some concerns about pulling out the gem.
Oh, they think it's a terrible idea because...
No, I'm suggesting this to the party in the sense of on the idea, well, yep, those that might have had some hesitancy about eliminating the crew, if this is going to be the plan, I believe this argument come forward.
Rachel just shrugged his shoulders going, whatever. Bruce just gives you a look of whatever too.
The idea that the ground is going to be no longer stable beneath him, I'm probably sure very terrifying to him.
Well, if he understood the context of the conversation. So in which case, he's eating an apple.
Yeah, he's just eating apples. Has a shit, eat apples. Yeah, but that works.
So 2 nights before you're due to reach your target, Razzle suggests you make a plan.
What?
For taking
Okay,
out all the
so-
guards.
I have a bit of an idea, actually. If I'm allowed to elaborate, and I look at Razzle, because who the fuck knows?
He says, go on.
Alright. I think we need to slow down the boat and take it around the far side and drop some of us off early. And when I say some of us, I say the really sneaky, quiet, intelligent ones, so Plowman. No, I mean Dimitri. But if we can drop a couple of people to kind of go in from one side, and then we put some of the warriors in the cart, and then I think we fly around and I fly in from the front, and at the last second pull out the gem, step into the cart, allowing the boat to fall down and start an explosion from one side while they're starting fires from the other. And then with the cart, we fly down to, I would say, like the far end of the ships and continue lighting fires and just pissing people off.
Razzle suggests go as fast as possible because if you slow down, they will catch you.
Oh yeah, no. When I drop Dimitri off beforehand, I want to do that before I can be seen.
He says if birds
Exactly.
slow down
Dimitri
now.
suggests that it is likely they've got at least some of their ships operational and flying. I don't think we got the opportunity to circle around and come back or anything like that.
Okay. Well, in that case, I feel like we should aim for one side of the fleet, but like a large concentration of them. Because I don't think we should do it directly in the middle. I think it needs to be from one side, causing the explosion to lead towards the middle. Do you know what I mean?
Dimitri will give you the, or effectively draw up a picture of the expected layout of the docks and things like that.
Yep.
Based on his understanding. And the point that, if you hit that on the air, it'll probably take out 80+% of the fleet.
Okay. So what I would like to do in that case is prepare everyone in the cart, take the boat as high as I can, and essentially come down at like a 45-degree angle, so they're not going to have much time to see us coming.
Hey, Bradshaw's going to look at the cart. How big is this cart?
The cart is not particularly big, but you could probably all hang on to it.
Yeah, so you're fine.
No, I'm not worried about me. It's more the goat I'm thinking of. So,
The goat can die. Because they're going to reset. Like, honestly, if you want to jump off the boat beforehand on the goat as a distraction, I'm okay with that.
You had no vision of Bradshaw or the goat in your future sight that you had.
Yeah, see? So, actually, that's a good point. Can I convince Bradshaw that I need him to distract the fleet by jumping on the goat and flying in? Can I somehow try and convince him?
Sure, give me a roll for that one.
And what I'd like to do is I'd like to be touching my tabard and making eye contact with Razzle as I do it. So any sort of advantage I can get is worth a try. Alright, persuasion?
Persuasion, I'm sure it definitely is a persuasion roll.
what do I roll?
Insight, you're 18. And what's our dwarven insight?
Yeah, not good. Insight's a intelligence, isn't it?
It's a wisdom.
Wisdom?
I think it's wisdom.
It
is wisdom.
Not trained in it. I got +2 on wisdom, so I could roll. It's not going to be good, I got a feeling. But you beat me by 1, you bastard.
Okay, so you believe this is a wonderful plan?
Do you know what I see? I actually do see in the future for Bradshaw and Bruce is like a Vindaloo substance. That sort of texture.
I don't know. I'm a bit sussy about this whole thing, man, but I'm going to go along with it.
I'm a bit curious about that. You're saying for Bradshaw and Bruce, so we're not talking just goat skew anymore. We're talking dwarven goat skew, is that what you're saying?
But he knows that we're going to come back, and I want to give him like 2 of my torches, so he can be like waving his torches.
So for dwarven cookbook.
How to cook for dwarves.
I've got a flying broom, but I don't think I can put Bruce on it, that's all. It's too heavy for Bruce.
No, you should just shove up his ass. It propels from behind. Sorry.
I'm sure that works somewhere in your imagination.
Yeah.
While the idea sounds great, I'm worried about if I come back to life, items destroyed after you use them like that. That's all I'm worried about. I'm going to look at both our lovely Dragonborn friend and Dimitri and going, really? And just give that kind of look of.
I'd also like to look very knowledgeable and say, we will get all of our magical items when we're reborn. I know it. And then kind of wink at Razzle.
Rez will give you a thumbs up.
There you go, see? Thumbs up.
I'm worried about this goat having I don't know. I just don't know. Well, it's funny and it makes a lot of sense. I'm just going, okay. So if I get on, I'm trying to think out. If I put the goat on top of the flying broom and somehow hang on to the goat, and goat can't hang on to flying broom, so that doesn't work out. I don't really want. How am I going to stick a flying broom up a goat's ass without the goat trying to kill me?
You're not going to. Part of the distraction is the impact, Bradshaw. Part of the journey is the distinct stop at the end of the journey.
Okay, I'm just having a check on my equipment just to.
Are you trying to talk about the meaning of the mine between the goat and Bradshaw as they hit the ground at velocity?
Do we have any sort of fireworks? Just a matter of interest.
Magic.
No, I don't have any magical. I've got torches. I've got plenty of torches, but
You can light them on the way down.
yeah, okay.
I was going to say, you should be aware there's a well-known phrase in Alphatian referring to when goats fly backwards.
You got to roll a deception check on this one.
I also have a sun sword you can have.
I got a total of 1 with my 2 on a -1.
All you had to roll was a 6 or high and you would have beaten me, by the way. Because I would have been start going, yeah, maybe on a different continent, I'm thinking. But,
Continent, that's what we're saying, it's Alphatian.
anyway.
And actually, can I take Bradshaw aside
Yep.
and just suggest, like, I'm so proud of you for doing this, but can I give you a bit of a bonus? Tie a rope around the horse when you jump.
Really?
Because you don't like the horse. Take it with you.
But, okay, Demetrius is actually going to ask the question of that, so your plan is to transfer the gem to Razzle's cart.
Yes.
Do you believe the gem will be able to make powers upon the cart instantaneously?
Yes, I do.
I suspect that the process for attuning the gem to the vehicle, noting the fact that usually the vehicle is built around the gem, I suspect it's not going to be a quick process to suddenly make the cart fly.
I disagree, and I'm the expert. The only issue, Dimitri, I have everything planned out. The only issue I have is that I know for a fact that fleet would only be heavily distracted by a screaming dwarf. And as long as I get that, we'll save the day. Like, honestly, like, this is my quest. Don't you trust me?
Why am I getting the image of Rocket Raccoon saying, yes, and I need that guy's prosthetic leg?
I was thinking that too.
Yeah, and you know what? You're not wrong. As long as I can get the cart flying with the gem. I've got no issue with that. Razzle said it's going to happen. Razzle knows everything. But
considering Razzle told you to store it in the cart, not actually attach it to the cart.
No. Transfer.
But did you say transfer to the cart hold?
No, transfer.
So people are kind of trying to kill. I'm Bradshaw's thinking I need a lot of swear words and one-liners and all that kind of stuff because also I'm going to bring out my bow to start shooting as well at the same time. The bow that tells me that I'm stupid. So we've got to make this a whole thing deal. I think so.
And
Yeah.
you want my sun sword, my moon sword that glows?
No, that's fine. It's fine.
You just cut into the.
Do you not want your moon sword for your death fight?
I got other swords.
No, I've got a return hammer.
Yeah.
Okay. Demetrius asking Crimson the question of So in the plan, when do you die?
Oh, once the fires are all started, I'm just going to punch Plum in the face. Once I'm confident that the fires are happening and that it's going to be enough to take over, I'll just, like, honestly, any of you guys can offer me once I say, okay, it's time. I don't care who, I'm not going to have any, like, anyone who's fantasized about murdering me in the most terrible way possible, like, draw straws, I don't give a shit.
Razzle puts his hand up.
Would it not be more suitable for an epic quest as the primary quester that you guide the ship to cause the final destruction?
My problem with that, Dimitri, and I'm very, like, if you think it would help that I, like, dropped you guys off and then I flew the card up and back down, I'm fine doing that. My issue is, how do we know the first impact is going to destroy it enough? I want to have us in the cart so that we can go and make sure that more damage doesn't need to be done.
I wasn't
I
talking about
have no issues about dying in a blaze of glory, don't worry about that.
I'm gonna have to go now, okay?
All good.
I'll
We'll see you later.
I should probably get going too.
See you later too. So we'll finish up there for tonight, and we'll pick up next session with the attack on the Alphatian air fleet and the describing its here.
attack on the Alphatian air fleet, backed up by a foolproof plan.
And Baldric wins it again.
Next time.
You know, we used to make jokes about Bruce being like a bomb.
You did.
Yeah. Just saying. Thank you, everyone. I hope you guys have a good night.
Absolutely.
I hope you guys do too. So good night.
Catch you next week or the week after.
Catch you next week or the week after.
Thanks very much, Martin. Have a good night.
Bye all.
Good night.